Welcome on into the Barbershop. It's your boy G Bush. We are in the first show of the off season. So let's get it going, man. Listen, man, it's been a great year. We got the Cleveland Browns. We did a lot of different things. We launched our memberships last year. We did film reviews this year. And now we head into a situation where we got a coaching search. So we want to thank everybody that followed us from 2025 into 2026. You already know what it is. You know what my slogan is, man. We came alive in 25. We ain't going to miss in 26. And speaking of not missing, I didn't miss very much when it came to nothing in 25. Shedeur Sanders ended the year as quarterback number one. Kevin Stefanski was fired like I told you he was. And Andrew Berry is the general manager, as I told and reported and prognosticated on throughout the entire ordeal. I told you why people felt the way they did and Jimmy Haslam the way he picked. And I told you a bunch of different things about the quarterbacks in 2026. It was Arch Manning in them first, right? Remember I told you those? Well, listen, let's continue the ball rolling in 2025. And if you are looking, if you're not watching, tell people, listen, this is the only place you can catch the Barbershop. We used to simulcast on UCSS. We are live only on the Barbershop now. So if you're watching on Twitter, on X, you can catch it there. You can also catch it on my Facebook. So if you are anywhere you're around, let people know. If you are a person that has only usually watches it on UCSS, make sure you log that away and know that this is the place you can find it right here only on the Barbershop. We got a great show planned for you today. We talk about the key to understanding the coaching search for the Cleveland Browns. And the coaching search dictates everything moving forward. Whoever the coach is going to dictate what the offense looks like. The offense, what it looks like, is going to dictate how successful the offensive line is going to be. The offensive line and the receiving core in the draft is going to be how well it dictates and helps the quarterback position. And so what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to come in here, and this is where you get your information at. You see, a lot of this time, so for about the last 2 or 3 weeks, you've probably been looking around trying to get you some information on some coaches. You probably been running around trying to find out who's the best candidate and what these guys bring to the table. You've been probably figuring out, okay, well, what are we trying to do in the draft? Let's see and watch these, these other guys in college and try to figure out what we're going to do. And a lot of the people that are supposed to be delivering this information to you are still in their feelings, still in their bag, still trying to find out stats, reasons why that everything ended up the way it did. See, a lot of people spent the last 2 weeks litigating whether or not Kevin Stefanski and why he should have been here, and why, if he was gone, Andrew Berry should have been gone, instead of talking about this coaching search. But don't worry about it. I told you I wouldn't be in my feelings. I told you it was unbothered G Bush season. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to give you that coaching search and those candidates. We'll break that down like we only know how to do over here. And I'm going to tell you who has the favorite on this job, and it may be a little surprising to you. We will also get to, come on, fellas, the Dante Moore stuff. Again, you guys are looking terrible. The anybody but Shedeur crowd, oh my goodness. The anybody but Shedeur crowd has reared his ugly head again. Because I'm interested in seeing all them people jumping up and down talking about he's a turnover machine. I kind of saw some turnovers last night, guys. I saw a 40-point blowout. Mendoza had Dante Moore out there looking like a backup. I was just like, is this a taller version of Dylan Gabriel? Boy, oh boy, let's get off into that. I mean, the Dante Moore conversation, can we talk about that a little bit? We'll do that as well. And then also, we're gonna break down. We're gonna get to this too, guys. We need to get through the stages of grief. Kevin's not coming back. He's interviewing for other jobs. I don't know if you thought he was going to mythically just walk back through. And I know it's getting kind of dry out there. maybe some of you will turn around in the media and get back to the grind at hand, because I'm sure those text messages are slowing down. You know how it is. You know how you write in your yearbook, you say, keep in touch. Everybody says, keep in touch. Give me your phone number. Put it in the back of your yearbook, and you roll over 5 years later, and you be like, whatever happened to that person? You ain't keeping in touch. Them text messages are slowing down. Them emails, that all that information you was getting, that's dried on up. You can't say people in the building. Right now, you're missed on everything, and you're finding out the cold, hard reality. The cold, hard reality is this. It didn't do you no good, fellas. Kevin ain't coming back, and Andrew is here. So what are you going to have to do? What are you going to have to do, my bro? You're going to have to get to it. Get back to the work, get back to the grind, and start realizing Andrew Berry's not going nowhere. And that dictates a lot of things in the coaching search. This is going to be one of them episodes. Make sure y'all pull up. We're going to give you some entertainment. We're going to get you stuff. And by the way, did I tell you? Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam already kind of told you who they looking at a coach and looking at a quarterback. We're going to talk about that too, man. You got a jam-packed show. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, because you going to be needing to tune in every week right here on the Barbershop. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, wipe your feet off. Get your cool. Shout out to the Kool-Aid Mafia. You see what it is. Shout out to the Mafia. J-Mac Too Fresh. He started the party off right. J-Mac Too Fresh just gifted 5 G Bush memberships. We starting the off-season off building right now. Let's get it going, man. Let me try to tell you. Let me just try to let y'all know something. I'm gonna break this down. Let me just so let's start with this, because I want to get to this. I want to start with this nonsense. So Jimmy Haslam, can we put some things to bed here? I know that y'all didn't understand. See, y'all in y'all's mind in a way, in an odd way. See, you overestimated your pull and your draw. There's a level of arrogance that goes around in Cleveland. There's a level of arrogance that we get to, because we start to believe that people are higher than what they really were. Kevin Stefanski, y'all believe that since you got 2 coaches of years, that Kevin Stefanski was untouchable. And you thought he was untouchable because, as I so eloquently pointed out, you guys gave him the award. Those are created awards by the Associated Press. You mean his buddies. His buddies gave him 2 Coach of the Year awards. The Cleveland Browns, if you listen to what they said, this is where all the denial comes from. This is where the denial comes from. They told you when Kevin Stefanski got fired that it was him. Hold on. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, fellas. When Kevin Stefanski was fired, they said it was him. What does that mean? It was him who had the lack of development. It was him who had the lack of development of the playbook. It was he who didn't put players in the right position. It was he who could not communicate. It was he who could not manage the clock. It was he whose team was penalty written from get-go. It was him in the special teams. And I didn't say it. The general manager and the owner said it. But it was so many people caught in their feelings and dealt with the cognitive dissonance that they were wrong, that they miscalculated the whole play, that they spent most of their time trying to debunk and argue and swing and howl at the moon You guys don't understand. Jimmy Haslam, for better or worse, is the owner of the Cleveland Browns. I told you from Jump Street, the Browns going to do what Jimmy Haslam is going to do. So you can say he's dysfunctional. I can't believe he doesn't. He's dysfunctional. This whole thing is dysfunctional. Let me get to this too. Let me get to this before I start with this. Let me tell y'all something. Let me get my coffee together. The people that's consistently talking about this dysfunction and accountability is sometimes the same people that don't deal with accountability in their real life. What you talking about? You sitting here trying to tell me this ain't a good job and I'm not going to take it. Bro, what the heck is you talking about? This is the problem where we are in a society. We sit up here and prognosticate and talk about what you want, the character that you want to see in football teams, that you want to see in a head coach, that you want to see in kids nowadays, that you want to see in your politicians. But when you get an opportunity to speak on it, no, I wouldn't take this job. What kind of mentality is that? If you don't have the confidence, you know, I like Shedeur Sanders. He said, if you want to change something, draft me. If you want to be somebody, draft me. If you want to be different than what you was, take me and I'll get on my back and we'll push and we'll get to where we need to go. But a lot of y'all, when y'all talk about taking a Browns job, it's the worst job in America. Newsflash, if it was the greatest job in America, that means the team was good and the coach don't get fired and you don't get the opportunity. At what point do we get to society where we don't even want to take, you don't believe in yourself? You don't believe in what you bring to the table? You don't believe in your gifts and abilities? Listen, I'm going to tell you something. My gifts and abilities transcend anything that the negativity that's going. Listen, I believe when I step in the building, it's different. You know why? Because true leaders get other people to believe in them. True leaders get the people that is the fringe people, that's the cancers. I don't like saying cancer because that's a disease. The people that's pulling on the opposite way. Then you tell them, you either get down or lay down. Either you with me or you're going to be up out of here. I inspire people to be better. I get people to change the way they're thinking about something. And if you're not a special person, and if you ain't a person that's trying to be about something at the highest level, we don't want you in the squad anyway. What are we talking about? This ain't the best job in the world. Y'all crack me up. Man, there's people out here go every single day. I thank God to this day. I done worked crazy jobs. I worked on the trash truck. I done worked in hydroblasting and nuclear power plants. I done did landscaping. I done did manual labor. I done shoveled snow. I done dug ditches. I used to work in call centers. I used to be a manager. I done so many jobs since I was 13 years old. And I thank God for every single one of them jobs. Because you know what it told me? Ain't nothing like that feeling in your stomach when it's Sunday night and you got to get up and go to a job you don't want to do on Monday. Don't even want to look at it. You're trying to think of every excuse in the world not to go to that job, but you got to get up because that rent is due. Maybe I'm talking to a lot of different people, but we not, listen, I still got my feet planted in the trenches low key. I just had a job. So when people talk about I'm passing down millions upon millions of dollars because they don't like the quarterback, you done lost your mind. As many people that don't like the quarterback do like the quarterback. We're not asking if you would take the job, and you lying if you said you wouldn't take it. People be capping. I don't think that supermodel's beautiful. Yeah, it's easy to say that when you know you ain't getting her. But I'm just stop. All that noise about woe is me, this is dysfunctional, this is this. Shut your mouth and get on the train. You're a worker. If you're a first-time head coach, you ain't supposed to be worried about no big stuff. Do I get to control who on the 55-man roster? No, you need to worry about, can you win football games? Can you motivate your dudes on the football field? Not all that grand stuff. Get in here, roll your sleeves up, and let's get to work. It's about the work. We do too much talking and not enough work. And if you don't want to be in the building, if you don't want to get to the business of rebuilding the team and making history and raising that trophy, we don't want you. We not want you. All this talk, this dysfunction talk, that sound cool, that sound cute. You can filibuster for a little bit. Browns are disgusting. Why would anybody? Yeah. It's funny because you're not sitting in them rules. Tell me I'm gonna turn down generational money. I don't necessarily watch ESPN. Let them pull up on G. Bush. I'm different. I'm bringing ESPN back single-handedly. Ain't nobody talking like this. Ain't nobody talking like this. I'm putting a memo out. Stephen A., Skip, y'all might want to find something better to do. Because we gonna bring this energy. We bringing it. You know how we get down, and we ain't taking no shorts. You know, that's the energy you got. You gotta believe that what you gonna do is transformative. You gotta believe what you got in your soul, in your heart, and your skill set is good enough to transcend bad losing. So let's get to that. I just wanted to throw that out there. I didn't want to feel it, but let me hear Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy talked about this, and he's going to give you why. He's going to say why. He's going to tell you. All you got to do is listen. Jimmy Haslam on why Andrew Berry is still here and Kevin Stefanski is not.
Because I know that there's questions.
Let me get my volume all the way up. Let me see.
I want to comment on Andrew because I know that there's questions out there. Well, why didn't you change both of them? Or why didn't you change Andrew and not Kevin? And I would say this. I think Andrew, over the last year, has done a very good job. And I want to go through that because I think it's important to talk about the moves he made to strengthen our team, okay? I think it began with what I would call a very efficient free agency. We added one player, and that player made a substantial difference in our football team, and that was Malik Collins. And Malik is not only a really good player, he's a really good person.
Now let's go ahead, and I'm going to break down each of these positions because guess what, guys? I forgot to put my little thing up. This is the last week we talking about this nonsense. Andrew Berry is in charge, and y'all going to have to get over it. That's the last week we're going to break down why it is he here. And then from then, we're going to let y'all argue and fight and yell into the ether and howl at the moon. Because you guys, you keep saying, I just don't understand. And I keep telling you why, and you won't listen to me. Maybe it's because you don't like listening. You're worried about trying to talk. Listen, it's a skill. Now, Malik Collins, they signed one free agent. It was Malik Collins. Before Malik Collins got injured, Malik Collins led all defensive tackles with 6.5 sacks. All of them. Malik Collins, the defense did not look the same after he was injured, and the Cleveland Browns were a nightmare and a force to deal with. They signed him, by the way, it's just not drafts. It's what trades have you made. It's what draft picks you have. Now, let me get this straight. I'm going to just tell y'all right now, I'm not putting the cape on for Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry has had multiple misses. I've been critical of him up front with Jed Wills. I thought that was a bust. The receiving core. Go back and look at my discography. So for everybody that's sitting around trying to make it seem like a certain way, no, you just got to the point where you noticed other things. See, y'all 3 to 4 years late all the time. All this outrage right here. No, you was playing that everything was cool role because Kevin was still involved. See how it works when Kevin was still involved. You weren't going to kill the Browns too much. When Kevin was still here, you was going to keep it because you didn't want to ruffle Kevin too much because you thought Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry were at the hip. So if I criticize Kevin, vice versa, and I criticize AB, that means it falls on Kevin. So when Kevin is not here, now you got the blinders off and you can go back and look at, oh, wow, we didn't really draft. Perrion Winfrey was bad. Tommy Togiai, Isiaki Ika. But when I was saying it, oh, you was the Duke of knee jerk. Oh, you want everybody fired. What about continuity? Now, the problem is y'all believe in continuity for the people you like, not the people who you don't. Dang, that was cold. Let's keep it pushing. Malik Collins, number 1.
He was a leader on our defense, a leader in the defensive line room. Andrew negotiated a trade a week or two before the draft started, in which we added 3 draft picks, 2 last year, a second and a fourth or a fifth, and a first this year.
Now, last year when I said, boy, I wanted Travis Hunter. I was ticked off that they traded that pick. Everybody and their mom touted that was a great move to get the pick. Now, all of a sudden, y'all don't like it no more? When I said Mason Graham, I don't know if you can draft the defensive tackle in the 5th. Matter of fact, I don't like it so much, I might not even be on the show no more. Oh, G. Bush, here you go with your hyperbole. Give him an opportunity. Give him a chance. Now I say, okay, now all of a sudden, you don't like that move neither?
Okay. Then I think we had one of the better drafts that we've ever had. I think we added 4 really good football players who were either first team all-rookie or second team all-rookie, and I think Carson has a really good chance to be the NFL Rookie of the Year, defensive Rookie of the Year. I think what's important to understand about
you drafted a defensive Rookie of the Year. I think those are 3 big hits.
About our rookies, though, and you all see them, you all know them, they're not only really good players, they're really good people, and they will be the cornerstone with which we'll build and grow and develop this winning team. But I think it would be short-sighted to not just look at free agency, not just look at the draft, but also to look at a couple of other moves Andrew made. We have struggled to have a consistent place kicker here really the whole time we've earned the team. And I guess the way we started this year, you'd say, well, looks like you're continuing to struggle. Our grandsons were at the game, and we were coming back to Cleveland last night, and I said, Andre Schmidt is a great lesson of when you fail, pick yourself up, persevere, and good things will happen.
The man, listen, when a rich dude start talking about life lessons in his 70s and 80s, he'll tell you what you want to know. Ask him, he's telling you, look, we ain't had no kicker. We got Andre Schmidt. Look, Andre Schmidt was a rookie, and they could have cut him after the first week, and they lost the Bengals game. And they didn't, and they kept him. And you know what stuck with him? You know what stood with now, we don't know if Andre Schmidt's going to be great moving forward. But I always go back to the thought process of Shedeur Sanders. See, my goodness, you guys are so dense. You guys just don't understand it. It's so tough to do 3-dimensional chess when people is just looking at checker moves. Listen to what they're telling you, not about what's in your head and why you want to be smart today. He told you, I was with my grandkids, and this is a story about what you can do when you continue to persevere. So when you say that this game didn't count, I don't know why the Browns should have won those last 2 games. We could have got X, Y, and Z and this quarterback, and you messed our draft stock up in it. Do you think this man sounds like he cares anything about that? Because these guys aren't even on the table. They're not even in the realm of possibility for this guy. He's telling these grandkids, listen, see what I'm saying? He missed it, kicked in, came back full circle. You think he don't value winning against it? He's giving speeches about character after he beat a division rival. You thought that was arbitrary and that didn't move the owner? By the way, do you not also think that the pictures of Shedeur Sanders going to Andre Schmidt after he missed the kick week 1 when he was the 4th-string quarterback, you think that was missed on him? You think it was missed that Shedeur Sanders was talking to him, speaking existence? And then in this game, Shedeur leads him down the field, puts him in position, said, my dog over there got it. My fellow rookie got it. One of the hungry dogs got it. Don't worry about it. We making this. It's some money bags. You think that this man don't see that? Maybe it's just me. Do you fools listen to music or do you just skim through it? I think you skim a lot.
And the signing of Andre and bringing him on, holding with him that first week when everybody was saying you need to cut him, you need a new kicker. I think we've hopefully solved our place kicking woes for a long time. Quality person, the team believes in him, and we're glad to have him. And then lastly,
Again, are they talking about what the media believes in? Are they talking about what the outside noise believes in? Are they talking about what the local media or the national media believes in? He said the team believes in him. See, what you guys don't understand is you're not the representative of the team. You're not the representative of the emotions, the heartbeat, the pulse of the locker room in the 53-man roster. Because if you understood that intimately, we would be here talking about different things, but we have to continue to tell you why for only one more week. This is it. Saturday come Sunday, I don't know. I'm not entertaining y'all. It's going to be a lot of dry topics. I ain't going back and forth with you. 1,900 people in there, whatever you are, hit the like button.
I think something that's underappreciated was the Tyson Campbell trade. Tyson is, here again, a really good player and a really good person. And I think all you need to know about Tyson is he has been playing with a bad shoulder for several weeks. We were unsure if he's going to be able to play, got hurt in the first half. He went in, got treatment, came back and tried to play in the second half of a game where we were trying to win our fifth game. It wasn't like we were trying to make the playoffs. I think this year we not only added, and I'm repeating myself on person.
Tyson Campbell was a home run. Not only did Tyson Campbell get traded for Greg Newsome, Tyson Campbell's a better player. He's a faster athlete. He's bigger. He's stronger. By the way, look what he did. Tyson Campbell is already under contract. Tyson Campbell is a guy who you have under contract moving forward in a team who's in a little bit of cap issues. We know he's hamstrung for money. So you weren't going to be able to sign Greg Newsome for market value. Guess what they did? They went out, got Tyson Campbell, and was like, you know what? And he balled out. And listen to what he said. Again, if you don't understand football and you want to play fantasy football, understand that the people that are in the building that are doing this for a living are looking at your effort, your integrity, how you move, and what we need to do to get there. Tyson Campbell had a bad shoulder all year. In a game that technically didn't mean anything to the Cleveland Browns, he went out of that football game. Denzel Ward, our best corner, was already out of the game. And the Cleveland Browns are going up against Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. He has enough heart and integrity to go in, get treated, and come back out and help stop the Cincinnati Bengals and that high-powered offense for the Browns to get their fifth win. Not go to the playoffs, not win the Super Bowl. He was out there enough because he cared enough that it meant something to him. Those are things that matter. And every single time that I get up here and I talk to these folks, here's the problem. If you ain't never had to have no surgeries or get cut on because you wanted to play football, you don't understand it. That's why listen, I may disagree with a football player. I may disagree with your rationale, but there's one thing that you can never disagree on is the fact that I understand intimately what it is to do something when you shouldn't be doing it. When your body hurt or when you know you got to, that happened to me in high school. I knew I needed to have surgery, but you're one of the best people on the team. And my goal was to win a state championship. The only public school to win a state championship in the Catholic era. Back to back. You know why we had to do it? I say we're about surgery later on. That's when you went from a teenager to you trying to become a man. Forget all the rest of that stuff. I finally understood it. Sacrifice at the highest level. I'm just trying to give y'all all first verse.
Purpose, really good players, but also really good people. And I think that core that Andrew has put together this year will help move us forward. We hope to have similar results this coming year.
He just told you. He said he told you. Now let's dig down on Andrew Berry. AB, So he just basically said right there, so this is why we chose AB over Kevin. So let's listen to AB as he tells why it is they moved on from Kevin. You see, this is how you got to put you podcast dudes, let me show you how to put this together. You can't just, you got to have it lineage. If you've been watching the barbershop reads like a continuous process. I done gave you the whole thing starting back in the draft. We gave you the whole scheme. Now we here to the coaching. I told you the coaching was going to happen. I told you what it was going to. Let's get to AB. Let's get to AB. This is why your boy Kevin's gone. Talk to him.
All owe him we all owe him a debt of gratitude and appreciation for a level of success that he brought the organization that really hadn't been achieved since 2002. And that's something that we'll always remember. Coming into this season, we were realistic that, we were a team and a roster in transition. And ultimately, this decision is born from the fact that we've ultimately felt like we did not see enough progress in areas that were controllable.
Notice what he said. We did not see a level of growth in areas where they were controllables. Your penalties, controllables. Penalties are controllables. What position you put your players in are controllables. Understanding who you're motivating. Are you getting through to your players? One of the cardinal sins is, what you don't understand is, if the ownership group believes in the quarterback and they believe in Shedeur Sanders and they want to get him an opportunity and you can't say his name, that seems like a problem. Don't it? It seems like a problem on fourth down. You're running, you take in the game. Think about this. In the game we could have won. You people advocated in a game where Shedeur Sanders threw for 365 yards, brought the team back. You condone Kevin Stefanski running wild dog when the game is on the line? That's a fireable offense in its own right. Fourth and one, the clock is running down. You put Harold Fanning Jr., who's a tight end in a cold game, who doesn't take snaps. You put him in to take a quarterback snap. No other coach is taking their quarterback off the field. Show me one time where they did in the professional ranks. It doesn't happen. So when he talk about the controllables, your offense, nobody told Kevin Stefanski to turn his offense playbook over twice. How arrogant is that? You get to choose the plays. You get to design the concepts for a whole entire year. You run them in training camp, you run in preseason, and all of a sudden, when you get to a point where it's not working, you take your playbook that you created, hand it to somebody else, and say, yeah, you handle this. I'm going to go do some other things. Knowing good and well they don't have no control over it. They have no input on it, and you're going to give them that playbook and then say at the end of the year it looked bad and they get fired. You done did that 2 times, Kevin. That's in a controllable. But I'm not about to sit up here and waste my time arguing with you on that, because you guys know it as well as I do.
Independent of certain game outcomes.
Sir, say it again. Say it again. It was independent of certain game outcomes.
Always remember. Coming into this season, we were realistic that, we were a team and a roster in transition. And ultimately, this decision is born from the fact that we've ultimately felt like we did not see enough progress in areas that were controllable, independent of certain game outcomes.
Oh, by the way, shout out to the people who sent me this. So you see what he said. Independent of certain game outcomes. By the way, controllable. Speaking of this young lady, shout out to this young lady right here. We gotta see a young CU auntie. She's been put on my radar. She's been put on my radar. Shout out to the folks in Twitter. She's out here cooking. She's been on Marcellus Wiley. I don't know if she's an analytics guru, but if she's an analytics guru, you know, AB done seen this clip. By the way, they watch. You know, they got to watch. They watch everything. You think they don't see this cooking? What's up? What's up, Tony? Excuse me, Tanya. What's up, Tanya? Bridget in the building. Data shows how Stefanski used plays to sabotage Shedeur. Here we go. You guys are great. You talk about these statistics?
Cleveland Browns firing head coach Kevin Stefanski makes it impossible to ignore how differently he treated Shedeur Sanders versus Dillon Gabriel, and the data proves it. Let's start with opportunity, because opportunity isn't just pass attempts, but it's when you're allowed to throw. These bars shows who the Browns trusted to throw early while the game was still in neutral and after successful plays. Dillon Gabriel was consistently allowed to throw early and in rhythm. Shedeur Sanders, on the other hand, was asked to throw after things broke down. And that difference shapes everything: play calling, confidence, and who stays on the field in defining moments. Now look at down and distance. Gabriel throws far more often on first down when defenses still have to respect the run and the entire playbook. Yet Sanders throws far more often on third and long when defenses already know what's coming. So that's not the same job. This uneven context is further compounded by Sanders being benched in a one-score high-leverage situation. That tells you how short the leash really was for him. Now let's talk about protection. Sanders was playing behind one of the worst protection environments in football, and instead of adjusting, the coaching staff didn't meaningfully increase help. No consistent extra protectors, no expanded chip blocks. But Gabriel received significantly more built-in protection, even with the same line. And protection is a coaching choice. It wasn't applied evenly. This is where people usually say Shedeur just holds the ball for way too long. But the data tells a different story. Sanders wasn't just under more pressure, but the pressure arrived way faster. We're talking pressure in under 2.5 seconds, before most routes concepts even exist.
And I need y'all to go to check out Leah. That's a Camerano. But yeah, this is kind of wild work. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not privy to where her data is collected. But as I tell people all the time, I give people all the benefit of the doubt. I don't know what True Media does. I don't know what I don't know NFL Inside the numbers do. Stats is stats, right? So I'm gonna trust that her math is right, just like I don't know if True Media is right. I don't know who own it. I don't know who do it. But some of the stuff she putting down right now, especially when you get to the chips, this right here was cold. This was cold. Let me see this. This is who was actually allowed to throw early down pass rate, right? Mind you, let me tell you this too. You see all this care and attention the Browns went into. You notice who was the coach during that time period? Kevin Stefanski. He was calling plays still. He did everything in his power to make sure that he would be successful. Let's continue on. Leah, I'm not going to stop you. I ain't going to stop you.
Sanders, on the other hand, was asked to throw after things broke down. And that difference shapes everything: play calling, confidence, and who stays on the field in defining moments. Now look at down and distance. Gabriel throws far more often on first down when defenses still have to respect the run and the entire playbook. Yet Sanders throws far more often on third and long when defenses already know what's coming. So that's not the same job. This uneven context is further compounded by Sanders being benched in a one-score high-leverage situation. That tells you how short the leash really was for him. Now let's talk about protection. Sanders was playing behind one of the worst protection environments in football, and instead of adjusting, the coaching staff didn't meaningfully increase help. No consistent extra protectors, no expanded chip blocks. But Gabriel received significantly more built-in protection, even with
Design help rate. Woo. 36% for Dillon Gabriel, 18% for Shedeur. Notice, when the Browns went empty more than anybody when Shedeur Sanders was in the game. Empty is 5 linemen. And you know what the crazy part about it is? Since I do film and since I've watched every single, I don't know if you guys can tell. See, this is the reason I be unbothered by certain things. I don't be arguing with folks because you know that I done watched every single play the Browns have had this year. As a matter of fact, I've seen when people say G. Bush, how did you know G. Bush be pulling up a lot of guys from the past? How did he know those names? Listen, I've watched every single Brown snap for the last 15 years. Every single one of them. I've seen every single rep of the Cleveland Browns. We do film breakdown. So I know what I see on film, and if it is corroborated from my eye test when I'm filmed to the film work to what she's saying.
The same line, and protection is a coaching choice. It wasn't applied evenly.
By the way, Baker Mayfield, go back and watch it. It was a game against TJ Watt, and Baker Mayfield publicly called out Kevin Stefanski for not offering James Hudson protection and giving him help against TJ Watt. He publicly called his head coach out. That was during the time where Kevin Stefanski scapegoated Baker Mayfield. When he was injured and should have been sitting down, he let Baker Mayfield play himself out of a game. He let Baker Mayfield play himself out of the city because he knew he was hurt. Dang, girl. Dang.
This is where people usually say Shedeur just holds the ball for way too long. But the data tells a different story. Sanders wasn't just under more pressure, but the pressure arrived way faster. We're talking pressure in under 2.5 seconds before most routes concepts even exist. So when pressure arrives that fast, time to throw becomes survival time. And this stat is really important. Despite extreme pressure and a reduced margin for in-game mistakes, Sanders actually turns pressure into sacks less often. That means he's escaping, throwing the ball away, or keeping plays alive. And that's not poor processing. That's problem solving under chaos. And the margin for error was not the same either. Sanders' number 1 receiver dropped nearly twice as many passes, so that shrinks your margin immediately. But the offense never compensated with easier throws or more protection. So the difficulty stayed high and the tolerance stayed low. So quarterbacks get judged by results and coaches decide those conditions. And that difference really matters.
Hey, I need y'all to go check her out, man. Make sure you subscribe to her TikTok. I got to give this. Okay. Leah, shout out to you. You are officially dated and gave you the CU Auntie's jersey and everything, bro. She came with Baker said when he was playing hurt, Stefanski wouldn't double team TJ Watt to protect. Ooh, yeah. Aretha, this is why the barbershop is dangerous. Uncle Ben, 27. Uncle Ben, 27. Jason mentioned that concocting some stats to demonstrate how bad Shedeur played. The info G. Bush is using should be used to combat the Jason's coming stats next week. So are you saying that we're playing chess? Are you saying that this is a preemptive strike by G. Bush? I can't confirm or deny that. I just felt like we was in a numbers game. I just wanted to show numbers from, I didn't come up with the numbers. I'm not a stat guy. Like I said, I watched the film, but I just wanted to have some numbers just to give a well-rounded conversation. Now, let me just tell you this. We are cooking. We are cooking. So now that we understand, we moving along here. So those same numbers she probably brought up, you think Andrew Berry's not aware of those? You think he's not aware of some of those discrepancies? You think he's not aware of the fact that he was a 4-string quarterback? And here's another thing. All this media, you know why the media stuff is going back and forth, and I keep trying to tell y'all this? They thought that they was going to be able to play this little role where it was Shedeur Sanders that got everybody fired. Why do you think they kept asking him them ridiculous questions during the press conference? And he wouldn't fall for it. Not only did he not fall for it, he sabotaged the whole thing because he said, listen, stop trying to make me be disrespectful to my coach. Never uttered one bad word about Kevin Stefanski. As a matter of fact, he went at a reporter for him. But the goal was to see if Shedeur would get sloppy. We want to see if you get sloppy in the interview. We want to see if you get emotional in the interview. We want to see if we could turn the heat up a little bit. See, the difference between Shedeur Sanders and Baker Mayfield lost his cool a couple times. Difference here is Shedeur was like, nah, stop asking me them questions. Because if he would have answered those questions, they would have used that as the reason to why Shedeur needs to be gone today. He got Kevin fired. He got everybody fired, and it's his fault. Well, now you can't do that. Now you just, I don't know. Now you just have to be like, I just don't like him. But let's talk about the quarterbacks and what they're going to do next year, 26, because this is where we roll this thing in. This is where we roll this in. The notion that 26 is it. We've been paying a close attention to that. Andrew Berry kind of talks about what he thinks about the quarterbacks. By the way, the last two clips, that was courtesy Aaliyah Camerano. Make sure you go check her out. The other clip was courtesy of 92.3 The Fan. Make sure you go check that out. All right. And other clip was courtesy of Darryl Wright. That was on his Twitter page. So make sure you go check all those out. Let's see what Andrew Berry has to say about this.
Darryl, I'd say quarterback is the most important position in sports. We all know that. And part of the equation with quarterback is the evaluation part. Part of it is the development part as well.
Say it again. Part of it is, if you folks would just listen, he would tell you what's going on. See, I'm a communications. I got a business degree and a communications degree. And I got a broadcasting degree. See, I be listening to what these folks say. Listen to what he said. Bring it back again.
And part of the equation with quarterback is the evaluation part. Part of it is the development part as well.
Part of it is the evaluation. Part of it's development. Part of it is evaluation. Part of it is development. Part of it is evaluation. Part of it is development. Shout out to Dr. Umar. If you say something 3 times, it's got to be right. It reinforces it. The evaluation, he swung and missed. See, now you're trying to distance yourself from who was whose pick. The pick that you took and Kevin Stefanski had the cliche to pull the trigger on was Dillon Gabriel as a top 100 pick. Dillon Gabriel is a top 100 pick. That evaluation missed. All of the people that was talking about how great it was, how good the evaluation on Kenny Pickett. They told us Kenny Pickett was the answer. That's a fireball in the fist just in itself. And Kenny Pickett went to the Raiders, couldn't beat out Geno Smith when he played. He looked terrible, and they're going to draft the quarterback. That was the guy you were giving first-team reps to? 1. Number 2, you told us Dillon Gabriel was a supercomputer. They gave him all the traits. Dillon Gabriel was fast. He was 3 inches taller. He was a Dell Pentium processor. And then we saw him play and was like, that ain't it. So one thing that got him out of here was the evaluation of Dillon Gabriel. The second thing that got him out here was the development or lack thereof Shedeur Sanders. So not only you didn't know what you was looking at, but you had that man over there throwing the trash cans and he threw for 365 with no practice. Then when he got in the game, then when he got here, you turned the playbook over to a first-time play caller. You wasn't chipping. You wasn't giving him no easy reads and looks. As a matter of fact, in the Bengals game, you wouldn't even run the ball. I'm just telling you. And by the way, the little stats, we talk about how stats work. Leah pointed out some of those same things. I'm just saying. You see how this flow? Keep talking to her, AB.
It's the most important part. It's the hardest position to play. It can take time, but look, that's the focus, solidifying that position. That's the biggest thing that can lead to sustainable success. That's priority number one. How we accomplish that with the combination of internal options, external veteran options, the draft, that remains to be seen.
If you always remember in communication, we always lead with the most likely things. What did he mention first? Internal development. Second, external veterans. Third, draft. Just giving, if you break it down.
The draft, that remains to be seen. But priority number one is finding a leader for the organization. That's what our focus is on in the short term.
Finding a leader for your organization. Now, speaking of, I know y'all was thinking about this too. Yeah, I know. Nah, they too busy trying to find a scenario where Andrew Berry can still get fired, so they're not listening or paying attention that he's in charge now. DK, I'm just saying, it seemed kind of, this is why. This is why. Please pay attention, people. Reby Lady 57G Bush ain't been wrong yet. I hope the supporting cast, those lame ducks on the show, are paying attention. Let me show you if they was paying attention to this. Yeah, let me see if they was paying attention to this right here.
Affect the question, affect the head coaching search?
Well, it's certainly something that we're going to talk about a lot with the candidates, but it's maybe a little bit less on their particular view of the quarterback situation and more about their thoughts and planning for it.
And what would you? I know you mentioned Shedeur up on the side, on the podium rather. What would you like to see his offseason look like, and what have you seen these last 7 weeks building towards 2026?
I'd like it to see him continue to make progress.
So first and foremost, we still got people sitting out there saying that they're going to get rid of the entire room. Deshaun Watson, Dillon Gabriel. To me, that's the most egregious thing that we've ever talked about because it's not steeped in any reality. It is grandiose. It's random. It's it's mythical. It's improbable. It is fairy tales. This is Sasquatch to fairy level. So all you got to do is listen to, by the way, Andrew Siciliano works for the Cleveland Browns radio network. He's a play-by-play. Nathan Segura as well. Watch how the questions are posed. He didn't say, is Shedeur Sanders going to be on the roster in 26? He didn't say, is Shedeur Sanders going to have a possibility to make the team in 26? He didn't say, is Shedeur Sanders going to be in the mix? Is he going to be a fourth string, a backup? Watch the question. All you got to do is listen, and it's there for you, people.
Thoughts and planning for it.
And what would you? I know you mentioned Shedeur up on the side, on the podium rather. What would you like to see his offseason look like, and what have you seen these last 7 weeks building towards 2026?
I'd like it to see him continue to make progress. He got valuable reps this year, starting 7 games. I think he's got to continue to make progress with his pocket management, his situational awareness, things like that. But you'd like to see him take take a major step forward going into week one.
During the game in Cincinnati.
You said going into week one. That doesn't sound like a guy who doesn't know if Shedeur Sanders is going to be on the team. Doesn't seem like a guy who's not unsure of what they got. Seems a guy who seems to be very confident in some of the things that he needs to work on, as well as some of the things that he's done well already. This doesn't seem to be a guy who's losing sleep at night trying to figure out how they trade picks to go get Dante Moore. We'll talk about him in a second. As you can see, he said going into week one. Now, he slipped a little bit. He probably shouldn't have said that. Shout out to Big Snacks. He talked about this a little bit earlier. Shout out to Snacks. He slipped a little bit. We're not going to ponder over this too much. But as he told you, so let's get this straight. In back-to-back interviews, he said, back-to-back comments on quarterback, he said, Kevin Stefanski swung and missed on the evaluation and the development of Shedeur Sanders. So now what we want to see? We want to see Shedeur Sanders continue to work on some of the things he was good at. He got some work to do, but we need to see some progress going into week one. This is not a situation where with Shedeur Sanders, you're going to wake up and all of a sudden you're going to get a memo and says, Shedeur Sanders has been now traded. You're not going to wake up, guys, and find a memo that says, you know what? The Cleveland Browns have hired a coach. This coach they like more than Andrew Berry. So this coach is now going to come in and demand that Andrew Berry mythically in the middle of the season gets fired before the season starts, and they fire him, and then we can dream and believe that they can get rid of Watson, that they can get rid of Shedeur Sanders, and then they could trade up and sell their soul to get Mendoza, and then everything will be great. Bro, it's going to be a long 6 months for y'all, bro. It's going to be a long 6. Because right now, the stages of grief, you're still in denial. You're in denial, people. Come back on. You know what it is. I forget which one of them stages is anger. The anger is already here. Y'all, why you mad? You just mad every week? I've never seen nobody be too mad. If you ain't never had a conversation, look, let me just tell you like how this works. See, most of y'all might not be used to not getting what y'all want. See, in my case, I don't get what I want all the time. When I said, hey, bro, I think Imani Bates can play. Oh, he's garbage. Oh, my gosh, he's terrible. Get him out of here. The Cavs moved on. I said, man, I wish the young man best of luck. I'm going to support him wherever he's at. I hope he get a shot, an opportunity to prove himself. Did I go on every single day and crash out? No, I didn't. When Deshaun Watson, I said he was going to throw for 4,500. Did I go on and crash out every single week? Every single week. And say, I don't understand why this is happening. Well, you would understand if you were looking. The problem is you weren't paying attention at all. None of you were. You were too busy telling you or going by what somebody told you. And I don't understand where that starts to happen at. Right?
Nathan and I, before that final drive, said this is kind of Shedeur's closing argument, if you will, for 2026. How did you view it?
Yeah, I thought it was a great.
I'm sorry, for 2025.
Yeah, I thought it was a great situation for him to be in because you look.
How did you view it?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Watch how,
things like that.
Watch how he poses the question. This is Shedeur Sanders' closing argument. You think that these folks is getting these questions? You think he asking that question out off his head? Watch this.
But you'd like to see him take a major step forward going into week one.
During the game in Cincinnati, Nathan and I, before that final drive, said this is kind of Shedeur's closing argument, if you will, for for 2026. How did you view it?
Yeah, I thought it was a great.
I'm sorry, for 2025.
Yeah, I thought it was a great situation for him to be in, because you look in a game where he was scuffling. It wasn't one of his stronger games, certainly early on. It's like, hey, can we get settled and get the team in scoring position to win the game? And he was able to do that. And I think, look, you're not always going to have your fastball every week in the NFL. It's too hard. Defenses are too good. But the fact that he was able to do that and lead us on a scoring drive when we absolutely needed it, certainly a positive.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Tristan Skywalker, thank you so much. So this is all usually I'm gonna read this right now. You know, you come like that. I got to read your super chat today, right now in the second. Experts use EPA to drag 12. Judkins' EPA ranks as one of the worst backs in the league. You notice, and here's the thing. That's why I argue back and forth with folks. Let's not act like Quinshon Judkins is not a baller. See, here's where it happens when you start doing stuff like that. You let those numbers affect what you're talking about. See, here's what I'm going to tell you about the great thing about football. I love it to death. When you play football and you watch it on film and you're able to look at it and you've dedicated your life for 30 or 40 years to it, one thing that happens is you get foundations and principles. Your foundations of what football is the basis of what you build your commentary off of. So when my foundation is here, see, some people's foundation is built on silt. It ain't built on no bedrock. So when you play, that's bedrock. That's stuff that you can build a bridge on. That's stuff you can build a strong foundation, a house on. Why you think these guys be building their whole commentary on sand on a beach, and then wonder why that they whole house in Malibu, the nice little shiny stuff that you done put on top, that slid into the ocean, because your foundations and your principles ain't solid. My foundation is, I already know what I'm looking at, and I already know what I'm looking for. So I don't got to change my perception based on who it is. The foundation is already here. The standard is the standard. So a lot of times these people get outside the framework of their body because when they watching it, they don't got the bedrock. So what happens? They're emotional. They flip-floppy. They move over here, and then 2 seconds later in the same conversation, they move over there. How you flip-flop in the same sentence, bro? Because they feel, see, you move like the tide, the wind. Ooh, I'm a kite. I'm moving around. You ever see a little kid on the beach with the kite and moving around and they flying one of them noodle arm things? That wind get to blowing them all out the place. Here's the thing. When you got a foundation, you understand. Guess what? I know what I'm seeing and I'm looking at. But when you got stats move like the wind. Stats move like rolling oceans. It go to and fro wherever you go. And if you don't have no foundation, you're going to get carried away in the trench. You're going to get carried away out to sea. If you don't have no foundation and guidance and principles and understanding the game, you let those numbers dictate what you think. So now, because you saw those numbers and you say, well, if I'm going to use EPA against Shedeur Sanders, well, I can't really use the same EPA numbers because I know Quinshon Judkins is good and he carried the team when Dillon Gabriel was playing quarterback. So how do I reconcile the two? So instead of you saying that the numbers can be mixed and matched and done anything and they needed to be taken in context, you now move your opinion on Quinshon Judkins based on the number. Based on an arbitrary number, you've moved and said, he's just good. Why? He only gets 3 points this per carry. I couldn't explain that to you unless you understand what it is to run the football and understand blocking assignments. If you don't have that foundation and you're not watching film, how therefore could you have it? How for it just don't matter. Let me get that back. It just don't, it's wild work to me. It's wild. I got to get to it. I got to get to it. It's wild. So let's talk about it. So we've already gone down the food chain, right? We've already got to it. And trust me, we're gonna get to the coaches. We just working and plugging right along going here on a Saturday. 3,110 people in here. Hit the like button. 3,110 people in here. Week 1. You see it, Bridget. I don't know look. I don't know. This offseason. Going into week 1. Yeah. Going into week 1. No, somebody asked, they say we gonna do the film review. I could do the film review on the Bengals, but we chose to move to the draft commentary. I could do the film review, but I felt like this last game of the season, the Browns in the first half played very bad. Pretty much, there's only like one drive, right? The second half is a much better film, but I felt like it was better to move forward and to get to and educating people on the draft. Taking a look at the offensive linemen, taking a look at the receivers, taking a look at the people that you guys need to be familiarized as the draft is coming up. Pro days is coming up, as well as the NFL Combine. So I want to get you guys familiarized with that as much as possible. And so we can move and try to get to a point where we can start talking about the stuff that's going to improve the team. So that's what we did. We do a film breakdown coming up this week. We went over the 2 receivers in our ranking. We're going to go over the top 10 receivers. So we've gone over, who did we go over? Jeremy Bernard, Alabama receiver. We went over Chris Braswell, receiver from Tennessee. Coming up next week, we got Surratt and Elijah Surratt, the guy that was, Mendoza was killing with yesterday. We're going to go with him. And Zachariah Branch is a receiver from Georgia, a speedy guy, slot guy, former USC receiver. So we're going to break that down as well. And then we got our offensive line grouping coming up, and then we got our quarterback grouping. So we transition to that, and that's what we're going to do moving forward with our stuff in terms of the film breakdown. Let me get to this. So we find out Kevin Stefanski's out. Jimmy Haslam told you why he was out and why he liked Andrew Berry. Then Andrew Berry told you why he likes Shedeur Sanders and what he thinks he's going to plan on going into next year doing. And it all plays a role because what we're trying to do is we're not going to do this. Where's it at? This is the last week of this nonsense. This is the last week of this nonsense. We are not going to be going back here litigating, trying to figure out a way. Now, there's a 3-part tool. There's some people that's upset because Kevin Stefanski got fired. Okay, maybe you thought he deserved another year. I get it. You get a couple days to get over that. Cool. There's another group of people that's not only upset that Andrew Berry didn't get fired. It's the fact that he stayed and Kevin Stefanski is gone. Both of them should have been gone. And then there's finally the third group of people that are upset, not necessarily because of AB or Kevin Stefanski, but they're upset that it looks like the Cleveland Browns won games and put themselves out of position to draft a quarterback. Now this group of people, now this is hilarious. I had an opportunity, and we all watched them. The quarterback said 26. The quarterback said 20. Yeah. We've been talking about that over here for a long time. And it looks like there's one quarterback in 26. See, I'm not a hater. I thought Mendoza was cooking them boys yesterday. I always said I think Mendoza could be a good quarterback in the league. See, I don't got to hate on Mendoza to say I still don't. I don't got to make Mendoza look crazy in order to say Shedeur is my dude. That's another thing. That's where it comes to. Remember what we always talk about. Is your commentary perched on bedrock or emotion? Or you just wherever you just want to be right today? My stuff is built on a bed. I can't come on here and say, I didn't think Mendoza played well. I look crazy. Why would I need to say that? Was somebody watching the Kansas City Chiefs that have Patrick Mahomes? Or somebody who has a quarterback like Joe Burrow, or a quarterback that is solidified like the Rams? Why would I be a Rams fan and I got Matt Stafford, but I feel so threatened by Mendoza that I got to go in and say Mendoza is garbage? I don't need to do that. For what? I don't need to say Mendoza is garbage. For what? Just to say that my dude is good? They're not mutually exclusive. But there's a group of people out here that have begged, pleaded, and wanted a quarterback for so long that they done told themselves that this was what it is. I saw 2 quarterbacks play, but boy, one of them didn't look so good. This is it. Mac Robinson said, Dante Moore now has 5 turnovers in 6 quarters versus Indiana this season. Just like Dylan Gabriel, he was propped up by a great Oregon offensive system and struggled against good defenses. I wouldn't draft him at 6, let alone trade up for him. Oh, I didn't say it. He said it. I mean, I've been telling you that, right? I've been telling you that. I've been letting you know. That this ain't. I don't understand. I don't get it. I'm trying to figure it out. I do not see what people is talking about with Dante Moore. I just don't see it. I've never seen it. Ever. He looks skittish in the pocket. He's not extremely athletic. They say he like 6'2" or 6'3". They say he like 6'2" or 6'3", but he plays smaller than that. His ball security and pocket awareness ain't there. He threw a pick 6 the first play of the game, and he looked like he's seen a ghost the most of the game. This is crazy. This is crazy. It's wild. The crazy part about it is, what are you seeing? What are you looking at? What are we doing here? Like, I didn't see nothing special. Nothing special. But I do find it funny, again, that I don't need to kill Dante Moore for having a bad game in a highly pressurized situation against a very good team, probably a team that's odds-on favorite to be the national champion. I don't have to kill him for that just to say that I think Shedeur is better than him. I think he should come back to school another year. And given this press conference, I think that's exactly what he'll do. Let's take a look at what Dante Moore said. And let's take a look at what Dan Lanning said in the press game conversation.
Wrong tonight.
Yeah.
What went wrong tonight?
Yeah. First things first, as a quarterback, you have to protect the football. And then, of course, has a great defense, great disguise of different looks. But, you can't win football games if you're causing turnovers. So just something, of course, I need to work at. That comes just with just, reps. But overall,
So here's what we're gonna say. Now this is why we do what we do over here. So you see what he said. You see what he said, right? Let's talk about this.
But overall, there was a great Indiana defense, great defense coordinator. But at the end of the day, we beat ourselves. Football games if you're causing turnovers. So just something, of course, I need to work at. That comes just with just reps.
That comes with, reps. Let's break this down to the lowest common denominator. He's a young guy who's played 1 year at Oregon. His numbers ain't even crazy like that at Oregon, to be truthful. He's admitting that, you know what, it takes time. It needs more. I need more reps. I need more reps. He said it. So let me get this. So watch this. This is for everybody else so y'all can put the noise. We only going to talk about this for another week. Next week, we will all collectively, 4,000 of us or so, we will be collectively unbothered by what you were saying because we have already put this to bed. The young man said, we lost because we turned the football over. And me turning the football over comes with more reps. If the young man said he need more reps, and this is against a college team, what do you think he's going to do against professional teams? And he said he needs more reps. This is why you cannot mess around, and the barbershop is precise. Precision. He said it. He said it. He didn't say I was in here and I was doing X, Y, and Z. So if this is your savior, you're telling me you're advocating the Cleveland Browns take Ty Simpson, who that is not even a question mark for me. He not even, I wouldn't draft him in the second round. Ty Simpson or more, and you want me to trade my picks to go up and get him, and he said I need more reps in college, either you don't know what you're talking about and your evaluation is completely based on what you like and what you don't, or you just, I don't know if I can value what you're saying. Because if that young dude is disheveled and they took a 34-point L with that offense and a good offensive line and receivers, and he turned the ball over how many times? I think he had 2 picks, a pick 6, 3 fumbles. Let's see what his coach say about it.
But overall, I mean, there was a great Indiana defense, great defense coordinator. But at the end of the day, we beat ourselves.
Yeah, and ultimately, I mean, there were moments where we had success offensively. But obviously, when you have the takeaways, you start off with a pick 6, you get in a little bit of a hole. You probably start to press a little bit.
I've never seen a coach just straight up be like, I think Dan Lanning is pushing this man. Hey, bro, you ain't ready. You might want to come on back, dog. Hey, y'all might want to come on back. You start the game off with a pick 6. Look, this is what his coach said. This is what the coach said.
But obviously, when you have the takeaways, you start off with a pick 6, you get in a little bit of a hole. You probably start to press a little bit. You get away from some of the success you have in the run game at times, but there's moments that we had some good plays, but that's a damn good team, and credit, you got to give credit to them too. It's not just what we didn't do, it's what they did do.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I'm not saying Dante Moore can't be a good quarterback moving forward. Everybody can improve. But the Cleveland Browns are not in a position at this place. Cleveland Browns not in a position at this point. And you trying to win football games. Andrew Barry's trying to do his thing. Kevin Stefanski. Right? It's not just you, G. Bush. The interview was set up in a manner that was allowed AB to send a direct message. Listen, we just trying to. So this is more for y'all. This more for y'all. I'm just trying to give you, because here's what the thing is. A lot of this stuff y'all going to see over the lot. And we're going to transition into the coaching situation, right? We're going to transition into talking about the coaching because this all ties in. It all ties in. It all ties in. You know, this is more for educating the people. Because what you're going to find is, you know, I've learned, and I had to learn this for myself. Let me just tell you something. And I'm going to give you my personal opinion on this. I'm not talking to you out of something that I'm trying to talk down to you or trying to tell you something that you don't know. Let me tell you from my perspective as a regular person that interacts on social media. I used to be a person that was easily triggered. I used to get triggered about politics. I used to get triggered about issues of race. I used to get triggered about economic disparity. I used to get triggered about, injustices in this world. I used to get triggered about biases. I used to get triggered about just a lot of different things. And it used to wear on me tough. And I remember my mom having a conversation with me and being like, man, you know, you justified in what you're saying because you spot on with a lot of it. And my wife came to me and said, listen, man, you're getting in these arguments, you're doing this. What is your goal out of it? What is it coming to? What is your goal to get out of this? Because it adds way more stress than you need. And I had to sit back and think, and you know me, as always, somebody come to you. That's the good thing about my peoples is I got people around me that they don't care nothing about G. Bush. They just tell me how they feel. So my suggestion for everybody is to keep people around you. Keep people that's not afraid to tell you what they really think. And so I had to reflect on that, and I went to, I really went and I prayed on it. And God told me, he's like, what you need to do is you need to learn. I said, what's to learn from what? He said, you need to learn why you're triggered. And you need to understand what inside your spirit makes you triggered about that. And then once you learn that, you'll easily be able to understand and explain it so that it don't affect you like that no more. And I said, what does that mean? He said, instead of going back and being inflammatory with people, deliver content that makes people think. Deliver content that you can take the emotion out of it and give them the information. See, when you're mad, it's because there's a lack of information. And then not only have to be a lack of information with you specifically, it's a lack of information that people out in the masses believe what somebody is saying is wild. He said, so either you're part of the answer or part of the solution. Give them information. And if you give them information, then they won't be triggered. As a matter of fact, they won't pay it no never mind. And I said, oh, that's it. So for me, there's a lot of people that could be emotional over the way they move and how things move. But the reality is, if you giving people thought-provoking content, that's why I always tell people, if you see me sitting somewhere, always understand this, and the real ones understand this, and you've been watching the Barbershop long enough. My job necessarily ain't to be in front as the goalkeeper. See, when you playing goalkeeper all the time, you on the defensive. I'm giving you communication 101. I'm trying to give you communication 101. When you let somebody put you on the defensive, you never get your point across because you're always defending what they saying from here and what they saying from here and what they saying from here. And when they start spitballing, all of a sudden is you sit there and all you doing is deflecting all the little things that come at you. And now all of a sudden the people, the community is like, oh, well, hold on. Well, is he losing that conversation or is he taking an L right there? Or what's going on? How come he can't? No. The problem is you're playing that game. I'm not a goalkeeper. You can say whatever you want. And I don't got to spend half my time debunking half of the things you say. I could play offense. I much prefer to play offense because it's hard when you on the offensive. And when I'm in a barbershop, I got 2 hours, 3 hours, 10 hours, 100 hours, all depending on how long I feel like talking to get my offense off. And when I get my offense off in the barbershop, it's different. Because I come with, you know what I do? I come with supporting details. I come with audio visuals. I come with receipts. I come with stories. I come with history. I come with science. I come with math. I come with emotion, spirituality. I come with it all. And in a 10-second clip, you can deflect some of that. But not in 2 hours. In 2 hours, it hit different. It's too well-rounded. So what I'm telling y'all out there is I'm just showing you and educating you on what it is to come so that when you see it transpire, you will be unbothered and go away and have a conversation in your off season. Because here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to be relitigating. I'm going to let y'all know what 2026 look like. I'm not going to be relitigating if Shedeur Sanders is going to be the top quarterback or going to be on the roster. I done already told you in what I'm thinking right here. Broken down what I think. So I'm not going to waste my time and energy having conversations about if he's the guy or not. That ship has sailed. The Cleveland Browns have already told you. I'm not going to go back and relitigate and keep talking about why Kevin Stefanski is not the coach of the Cleveland Browns. They've already told you why Kevin's not the coach. They've already told you what AB was going to do. We're moving along. I'm not going to continue to live in the past because you're in disbelief about what you didn't see right in front of your face. So if you want to yell and howl and you come up with all the stats you want and jump up and down, do backflips, all that good stuff. You write 35 articles, go on shows, great. Have at it. But as for me, I'm moving along. We talk about receivers and coaching. We trying to talk about who we finding for this coach search. I'm looking at receivers and offensive linemen. As a matter of fact, I don't really care nothing about EPA because it sounds like Andrew Berry don't care about EPA. Sounds like Jimmy Haslam don't care about the stats or where Kevin Stefanski is interviewing. Kevin is out there interviewing for jobs. I just heard he was at the Baltimore Ravens. Just heard he was with the Giants. Congratulations. I wish him nothing but best of luck. But I don't have no time. I don't got no energy and I don't feel a certain type of way about none of that. Just saying, bro. For all the people that's talking about complaining, they messed up the draft order. I told you during the season. And Shedeur, if you want to get them all the way up out of here, go ahead and win the last 2 games. Guess what he did? So my thoughts to you guys, if you support Shedeur Sanders and you support the Cleveland Browns and you support them moving forward and you want to get to the offseason, stop having these arguments, these arbitrary arguments about people that rage bait you about, I don't know, things that aren't passing or coming to pass. I'm not going to be in every comment section talking about why Shedeur Sanders is better than Dante Moore or why Dante Moore is not the answer. I'm not having no conversation with armchair Mel Kipers. I don't care what Mendoza did at Cal. Listen, I hope the Raiders draft him. I hope wish him well in the future. But as for me, we moving on. Speaking of, what do we got here? Shedeur is still triggering people. He's still getting cats. Still getting cats. And one of the things that they're trying to mix into this conversation, is that the new head coach, whoever it is not going to want to be here because what Shedeur is doing. All of the things that we've dealt with. What have we dealt with? what have we really dealt with? People in my community have dealt greatly. I think he gave a single mom a car. I think he went to the projects and helped people out and gave back to people that had a devastating fire. I don't know what have we've dealt with. As a matter of fact, can we say what he dealt with? His house got robbed. His father had cancer. He's a cancer survivor. I mean, we could say what he's dealt with, but I'm just throwing it out there. No, I think we're internalizing that. It's what you would have been done to you. See, we feel aggrieved in the media because, Shedeur is, he's made us look like we're not really on top of it, and we swung and missed. Now, when it comes to the coaching search, they come up with a new boogeyman. The new boogeyman is no good coach is going to want to come here because of Shedeur and all of the things that he's doing. Says who? Says who? As a matter of fact, there's some coaches that will pull up and say, let me look at that tape. Because here's what I'm going to tell you is going to happen. Here's the thing. Let me tell you, tape guys to tape guys. Right? Let's see how it happens. See, when they bring the coach in there, they're going to break that down. More specifically, the offensive coordinator. And the offensive coordinator going to watch the tape, and you know what he's going to pick? He's going to pick the plays and look at him and say, yeah, that was a turnover, whatever. I don't know what y'all was running on that one. But I can win with that accuracy. I can win with that ball placement. I can win with that mobility. I can move with him, maneuver in the pocket. I can win with him in the way he's able to throw the deep ball. He's going to look at all of that. And he's going to take his and look at his self-reflection. Remember what I talked about understanding the challenge and people that want to be here? So he's going to look and say, I feel like I'm one of the brightest offensive minds, and I know I can get through and I can get more out of that than what we got. But what they're doing, this is funny, courtesy ESPN Cleveland, they create these boogeymen so that they find some way, the last-ditch effort that they feel like is going to really, really come on in is they think we going to get John Harbaugh. And then Harbaugh is such a big name that he can get rid of Andrew Berry, Shedeur Sanders, and Deshaun Watson in one swoop. Maybe Jimmy will offer him the whole king's ransom. And then Harbaugh will get here and then wipe everybody away. Whoo! The gymnastics we got. Courtesy ESPN Cleveland.
To a league insider who speculates on what he's heard about Harbaugh's prerequisites to even be interested in your job.
Okay.
$20 million a year.
Not a problem.
Not a problem. $10 million assistant coach budget.
Not a problem.
Okay. Total authority over the roster. And also would like to select his own guy to lean on, personnel guy.
Okay, so would he be making the draft picks? Like, you're going to ask this guy? That kind of makes me feel uneasy. Does he want more say over the roster than what he had in Baltimore?
Yes.
Ooh.
Which would be a total change in the structure here. I think there are 4 definite candidates for Harbaugh to end up with. Cleveland now is, I think, 4th.
Okay.
Miami.
The Giants.
And Atlanta.
So they're like, oh, so the prerequisite is now $20 million for him, $10 million for the staff. But he want all control over the roster. He want to hire his own GM. Well, seeing that Jimmy has already said that Andrew's going to be here, I don't think that's going to work. Don't think it's going to work. And I don't think that's going to, listen, let me tell you how this jumps off. Let me tell you how this jumps off, right? When you look at this, the Browns are working on getting an interview lined up with John Harbaugh next week, according to Mary Kay Cabot. Now, let me just tell you this. I do believe that he will get an interview. And I do think that, and I'll give Jason Lloyd credit for this one. I got to give credit where credit is due. I thought he had a good hypothesis. Make sure you go back and check it out on UCSS. It was me, him, and Tyvus on Friday. I thought he had a good hypothesis of what happens. Harbaugh is a guy who is from an AFC North team. He's played the Browns for years and years and years. The great thing about getting these guys to come in, and I've always given a story. I used to do hiring as a hiring manager, and I've hired countless people. As a matter of fact, we even went in, and there's a new thing they do in corporations where you interview your own boss for the position. So we even interviewed my direct boss when the role was vacant. And one of the things that you do in interview processes is you come in and sometimes you're just doing some self-scouting. Sometimes you have problems in your organization. You may have turnover issues or revenue or a process, bottleneck or, things that you're having issues with sales or lack of innovation. And so what you do to higher level candidates, if it's a position of leadership, is you want those people to come in and you may say, hey, here's a hypothetical case study. We want you to tell us how you would improve sales or how you would improve operations or and whatever the case may be. And those individuals, as part of the interview, would come in and give their thoughts and their experiences from other different corporations. And it's one of the ways that you can skim knowledge from a bunch of different places. And it's a way that you can get a new idea of what people around the league think and about some of the areas and blind spots that you may have. So bringing in Harbaugh is not only an opportunity to talk about him as a candidate, but it also gives you an opportunity to find out about the Baltimore Ravens, to find out about Lamar Jackson, to find out about what he thinks works and what doesn't work, and his philosophy on development, his philosophy on accountability. You get all of those things, and now you can put that to your business even if you don't hire him. You say, well, why would somebody come in and do that? It's one-sided. No, it's not one-sided. Because Harbaugh, even though he may not want to take this job and he has no intentions of, well, he can do some of the things and go out there and float some of the things Tony Grossi just talked about. I want $20 million per year, $10 million for my staff. I want control over the whole drafting process, and I want my guy to be the GM. Now, guess what? Just by him taking the interview, which he haven't even done yet, he is now, even if he wasn't getting $20 million, he can go back and say, Jimmy was going to give me 20 for the Browns, and they're a worse roster. So this is my bare minimum. So now you see his agent is able to do things like they did right there. His agent was able to come and leak and float what his demands are, and now some team is going to say, okay, well, at least we know the baseline of what we need to get to. So a lot of these interviews are not interviews where guys are coming in to do nothing. A lot of these interviews is placebo. A lot of these interviews is window dressing. You could go list by list, candidate by candidate. By the way, most of the candidates that you really want can't interview because they're with playoff teams. So your top candidates, my top candidates are going to be doing something other places. My top candidates may be doing something and getting ready for the playoffs. So you can't speak to them. So a lot of people are getting interviews right now. These are fact-finding interviews. Some of these candidates don't even make sense if you really break it down, if you think about it. I said this on UCSS. John Harbaugh doesn't make any sense for the Cleveland Browns. Not just for the Cleveland Browns, but it doesn't make sense for Harbaugh because he's in it and he just came off a long-term relationship, 18 years, in which he had Super Bowl aspirations, a franchise quarterback, and they believed that they were this close to a Super Bowl. Why would he then come back at this point in his career and start speed dating? And I told somebody like this, God forbid something happened where I'm no longer married to my wife. I'm not, God forbid, where to death do us part. I'm not going to be out here running around with no 26-year-olds. I ain't got no time for that. I don't have no time for no growth. I don't have no time for you to figure it out. I wish you the best of luck, but you can't be 27. I'm not going to the bar with you in the middle of the week. This is called adult life. I'm not, no. I know. I don't want to hang out at a wine and cheese party with your friends. I'm at the crib. You know good and well what G. Bush do. I got podcasts I got to do. No, we're not going on vacation 3 times a year. And frankly, I don't feel like entertaining your parents. I like them. But every time I see them, they be wanting to sit here and entertain and talk about who I voted for. We can't do that. No. You got too much energy. I wish you the best of luck. I need somebody that's at the same life cycle as me. I need somebody who's like, listen, I can dress up and look good when I go out, but when I'm at this house, we not gonna be wearing uncomfortable clothes. We sweatpants up and we figure it out. I ain't got to be going out to eat every 5 seconds and you got these events. No, I need somebody to line up with my lifestyle. It is age appropriate. And right now, it's not age appropriate for the Harbaugh and them. If Harbaugh tell me in an interview, I'm cool with how y'all want to move, and I'm ready to roll my sleeves up. I want a new adventure. I want to come in and I'm invigorated. I'm ready for a rebuild. All right, cool. Let's roll. But I don't feel like he's at a point in his life where he's trying to come in and Andrew Berry already got expectations that he got to win games this year. Does he want that? Do you want to be in the division immediately for the Browns playing against the Ravens and Lamar Jackson immediately? Nah, you want to have a squad. When I see the Ravens, I got somebody we can roll with that we can beat. So I just think that the life cycle. It's life cycle. We ain't in the same life cycle at this point. Let's get to this one. So let's take a look at the candidates that possibly are in the game. Look at these candidates. Here we go. Browns interviewing Bengals OC Dan Pitcher for our head coaching opening. He is the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals. Here's the problem. He doesn't even call his plays. He doesn't even call his plays. He's not a person who's calling his own plays. So again, we talk about in this coaching search decoded. Look at the people who are in the life cycle. The life cycle of where he's at. He's never been a head coach. Doesn't have a head coaching experience. He is not a play caller. He's not a play caller. So we had 2 different life cycles, my bro. I can't afford to have you come in here and you're going to be the coach and what? I mean, I don't know what you're basing that on. We're at a position we got to win, and I don't know if you want to roll with a dude who doesn't have that level of experience. Now, mind you, these guys can be great coaches. You know, these coaches, this is funny. I like how G. Bush shows how stupid the thinking is in the cheesecake analogy. I'm not eating some crap cheesecake because I picked it first because the best of one was picked in the fifth. That's stupid. Cheesecake theory. I ordered all the cheesecakes. Why would you think about it? I ordered all the cheesecakes, and my fifth round cheesecake is less expensive and way better. So now, if I'm going to go back in the draft, why would I have to go back in the draft and get some old other cheesecakes? I know where to get the good cheesecake at now. I'm going to just order a bunch of that cheesecake. I'm going to just go to the store and buy all them cheesecakes that's cheap. And I need to eat that more times, not just 7 times. I want to eat the cheesecake the times next year in 2026 too. Like, these guys is tripping. But back to these coaches. Dan Pitcher is coming in. I don't think it fits the timeline. Let's look at somebody else. Who else is coming in? Who's this guy? Aiden Dirty. Aiden Dirty, defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. Today, we are interviewing Seattle's defensive coordinator, Aiden Dirty, for our head coach opening. He just now started calling. I think he may not necessarily be calling his plays in Seattle. He's a good defensive coordinator. I think this might be his first year calling plays. Good defense in Seattle. Good track record, young up and coming guy. A lot of people talk about, his enthusiasm. He's really great with the defensive line. Again, he's a defensive coordinator, defensive-minded guy. So that means you would need a top-notch offensive coordinator to come in here. But again, no coaching experience, no head coach experience. And if you got a guy, who you going to bring in as defensive guy? I'm assuming that you would have to move on from Jim Schwartz. Now, if you move on from Jim Schwartz, how do you know the track record with this guy is even better? The thing with Jim Schwartz is you already seen the track record. You already saw what the growth is. Do you want to possibly stunt and develop the development of the guys that you got on the roster that can perform in that system just to bring in this guy? Now, I'm not saying his system can't be good. It could be good. But what I'm saying is it a right time to talk about having a first-time head coach that is very inexperienced after you just got rid of Kevin Stefanski and hoping that you need to win some football games today, not yesterday, today? I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like the right track record. Tommy Rees. Now, I told you Tommy Rees was going to get a job interview. I told you they was going to interview Tommy. He got 7 games or he got some games with Shedeur Sanders, a couple with Dylan Gabe, 9 games. Well thought about around the league. Nick Saban puts that word in for him. I think Tommy Rees is a young, bright mind. Here's the problem. We're not at that timetable. And listen, man, I'm 45 years old, 44 years old, widowed 2 years ago. I can't be in no in the tiki bar, drinking down sex on the beaches and jacking cokes with some 27-year-old. Talk about we dating. Come on, man. Nah, we can't do that. Yeah, two different. My idea of a nice night out involves being somewhere at my house, cooking a steak on the grill, looking around. You got way too much energy for me. Like Tommy Rees, he's been in the building. I think it was good to give him an interview and to give him a solid. You know what I'm saying? You want to do sometimes when you're in an organization and you there. Sometimes you apply for a position you know you ain't qualified for. You just want to get the interviewing process down. The opportunity to see what type of questions they ask and what are some of the higher level concepts that you might need to get better at. And then I did 3 or 4 interviews before I got into leadership. And they're like, yo, we want you to learn our process more. We want you to get into our revenue cycles, how we really, our contracts, what we do. We want you to learn the terminology more. We want to get you should. We used to submit applications for clients for Social Security disability. So knowing medical determinations, knowing why people fail disabilities, lawyer, our state hearing process, and what if you get denied for disability, submissions to all that good stuff. We want you to learn that. And so after I went through that process a few times, I started to earn. I got homework. Okay, I'm gonna go work on this. I got little tidbits. I'm gonna go do this. So that's what really helps you out in the end. So Tommy Reese, I think this is fact finding. I think they're gonna give him solid, but is it the right track record? Is it the right time? I don't think so. I don't think so. Another guy. This is interesting. Mike McCarthy. ESPN sources, Dolphins fire head coach Mike McCarthy, or excuse me, Mike McDaniel. I was reading the thing. Mike McDaniel. McCarthy's been talked about. I'm not a McCarthy fan. I'm not a McCarthy guy at all. Dolphins owner Steve Ross met with McDaniel this week to discuss the season. After meeting and reflection, Ross decided to move on. I think Ross decided to move on also because John Harbaugh came available, right? So now we take a look at it, and Mike McDaniel is available. For me, I'm neutral on Mike McDaniel. Problem I have is it the right place? Is it the right time? Mike McDaniel seems like he might have to take a step back to go forward. If he's my offensive coordinator, I'm ecstatic. Great with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm ecstatic. Maybe it takes him a little time to get back into his swing of things, readjusted what he has. But him as an offensive mind is undeniable. Problem I have is I don't know if it's the right opportunity for him in Cleveland. I don't know if he's the right motivational guy. I don't know if he has the after the whole Tua stuff, I don't know if he has the soul and spirit to be like, I'm commanding respect, I'm demanding respect. You ain't about to do this. You ain't about to get this off, and this is how we moving. I don't know if it's in him. I don't know if it's in him. So, I don't know if it's in him. I don't know if he has that accountability. I don't know if he has that level, and I don't know if he can get it, and I don't know if he has those requisite skills that will develop. But I do know as an offensive coordinator, I like his mind as an OC. And I think he's a coordinator that you really do bring in if you have a defensive coordinator. Now, let me just spin this forward, bringing this thing all together. You see, if I can get Mike McDaniel as my offensive coordinator, then it only makes sense that as the head coach, you bring in Jim Schwartz. And here is the payoff. If you would have told me during the year a little bit that Jim Schwartz was going to be, in my opinion, right now, the lead candidate, I thought so. I'd have told you you're crazy. But there's a funny thing the way it works. I believe there's 8 head coaching jobs. There's 8 jobs and not enough of candidates to go around. There's not one hot shot coordinator that's offensive minded, that's at the top of the food chain like Ben Johnson. It's not one. So it puts you in a situation where you just got rid of Stefanski, right? In terms of resume, a lot of people don't even have his resume. And you got rid of him. You deemed you should have got more wins. So where do you find a person who has an opposite personality than Stefanski, more He's going to hold you accountable. He's going to do what you need to do. He has previous head coaching experience. He's a leader of men. And where can you find all of that? And the guys absolutely love him and have respect for him in the building today. If you want your new coach, if you don't hire Schwartz, to keep Jim Schwartz as your defensive coordinator, that means you think very highly of him. That means you think so highly of them that you want what? To keep him on. You might as well just make him the head coach then. If you care that much. If that's how much respect you got for him, what is it? Make him the head coach then. Because no way you bring in another coach and then handcuff him to the guy that you already had here because of your opinion, your high opinion of this individual and the respect that he gets. Here's the slam dunk reason why, if don't nothing change, he's definitely the leader in the clubhouse right now, the way I see it. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not getting no information from nobody. I like Flores. Flores was my number one candidate. However, I think Flores is going somewhere else. I think Flores is going to the Raiders. I think Harbaugh is going to get one of these New York jobs because it's New York, and they got enough cash here to let him get it off. Got a couple quarterbacks too. The rest of these coordinators, I'm not moved by these first-time non-head these coordinators who they ain't got no experience. But the thing that you got Jim Schwartz is, one, understand what they're saying here. Read the room. I think it's very ironic that they didn't even mention Jim Schwartz's name. They just wanted to be like, shh, don't even say nothing. You know that boy G. Bush is good. He done sniffed out our coaching search already. We can't even mention Jim Schwartz. Now, guys, you try to sneak this one by me. See, Jim, and for what he is, Andrew brought him from Philadelphia, which was his stomping grounds. They brought him here. He's won awards and hardwares as the assistant of the year here. And this is the most captivating and the most this hits home so tough. It's hit different. Jim Schwartz, under his tutelage, remember what the owner told you. The owner said some of the hits that Andrew has had, those hits mainly came on what side of the football? So what Andrew was at the end, I get excited sometimes. So the groceries that Andrew brought from the grocery store, the raw materials, the produce, the poultry, the dairy, the fruits and vegetables that he brought to Jim Schwartz and said, make me a meal, he turned into a 5-star deal. He turned into a Michelin star restaurant. Don't believe me? Look. Don't believe me? Just watch. Shout out to Bruno Mars. Myles Garrett, under Jim Schwartz, broke the single sack record. We just talked about the defensive tackle. Huh? We just talked about. We just talked about how crazy it is to have Malik Collins lead the league in sacks before he got hurt. 6.5 sacks. The owner mentioned that. That's 2 hits. The owner mentioned also Carson Schlesinger, defensive rookie in the year, Pro Bowl alternate, calling the plays in Jim Schwartz's defense. Immediate hit. That's 3. Denzel Ward, another Pro Bowl hit. Grant Delpit, Pro Bowl, one of the best years he's had, hit. Ronnie Hickman, undrafted free agent, hit. We don't even notice him not being back there. Tyson Campbell, you trade for him in the middle of the season. He had a rough first game, and he comes back and is one of the best corners. And he only was there 2 weeks. Only spent 2-3 weeks in the system. Got him mid-round. Alex Wright, hit. Even Mason Graham came around looking decent. Devin Bush, great year from Devin Bush. Career year from Devin Bush. Now, let me understand this, right? The produce that Andrew Berry brought, this man, Jim Schwartz, turned it into a 5-star meal. The groceries that was brought to Kevin Stefanski, he turned it into Burger King before they close. You never go to Burger King right before they close. The fries is dry. They got bottom 5 fries in the game. Bottom 5. Their double cheeseburgers don't taste nothing like the Whopper. The shake machine is always down. There's always some sort of liquid always on the outside of the cup. And why do the fries taste like onion rings and y'all have not had onion rings in years? And you got the worst bottom 5 nuggets. The tenders, the nuggets is garbage. Andrew Berry brought them groceries to Kevin Stefanski, and he turned it into Burger King and Rally's cheeseburgers. Come on, guys. So now you got to question yourself and say, why would I bring in another defensive coordinator and make him the head coach when I don't even know if he's going to get through to Myles Garrett? He don't even got the respect of the defense. Why would I change up? Why would I change the system and the scheme where it gave me a top 5 dominant defense and guys are playing at the best clip in their career? Why would you want to start? See, the Browns told you all you needed to know. They didn't want to start over again. They didn't automatically want to start over with everything. They just wanted to get rid of Stefanski. Andrew got to stay. Jim got to stay. Because they actually delivered on what was happening. You think that Jim don't know that Andrew gave him them ingredients and he turned it into a 5-star deal? Myles was a first-round pick. Myles did this issue on his own. Hey, no, I'm not giving all Myles Garrett's credit. You know why Myles Garrett? Myles Garrett been good forever. He didn't break that sack record until he was under Jim Schwartz. And let me just tell you this: Greg Williams used to be the coach, and I've been here since before Myles, after Myles, all between. Greg Williams used to tell Myles, I don't want you doing certain moves. Bro, that's Myles Garrett, bro. Greg Williams, how you telling Myles Williams? That's why you didn't get the job. Greg Williams, so I don't want to see you doing no spin moves. What? Shut up. Like, what are you talking about? That's like saying I don't want to see LeBron dribbling at the top of the key on the left side. LeBron dribble wherever he wants. Myles Garrett makes any moves he wants. You give it to Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz is going to put Myles at different places, and he's going to let him cook. And one of the best reasons Myles Garrett broke the record is because he got a coach that's about to let him cook. They let him play linebacker. They let him stand up, put him at 3-deck technique. Let him line up outside of the receiver in the stands. I'm just cooking. I'm just showing you. I just need time to get to it. So you got Jim Schwartz coming in for a meeting. And guess what? If you got Jim Schwartz and you're worried about whether or not you're drafting a quarterback or whether or not what you got certain places and areas, you don't even got to worry about that. Jim done already been in the locker room. All of this concept of ain't nobody going to come because Jimmy be battling, you know how that get erased? When you hire somebody that already know who Jimmy is, Ben knew what Jimmy's personality is, Ben knew what the general manager's idea is, understand what they trying to do, understand where they going on, and could also say, guys, I was here when we was running it a different way, no disrespect for the last dude that was in here, we ain't running that when I'm here. When this ain't how we running it. Hey, I know what your tendencies is. I didn't like them last year, but so guess what the level of buy-in you got? It's different than having a substitute teacher than having a teacher that moved from social studies and just gonna take over English. That substitute, they ain't gonna get that respect. But the teacher that's already been in the system, yeah, I'm teaching social studies, this mod, I'll catch you over here for English. You, matter of fact, just stay right on in here. Don't even switch rooms. We're going to do this from this hour to this hour, then you stay right in here. We're going to do that. Guess what? You ain't going to have no problem. Because you already know. I've been had this teacher for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I've been had that. They already done talked about Jim Schwartz. Exactly. Ward, Garrett, Delpit already went on record going to bat for Schwartz. And I'm pretty sure they're going to listen to the playmakers that are taking up a lot of the salary cap. Yeah. So one thing that we all agree on is that Bubba Ventrona's out of here. I think the Titans asked to interview for his job, I think. Somebody gave it. We gave Bubba we gave him all of the permission to go out there and talk to it. That Jim Kubiak talk, I think that might have been Shanahan. At the end of the game, makes a little more sense now. So, like, I'm just trying to tell y'all this mean. Now, I'm just looking at the three-dimensional chess out here. I'm just looking at the moves. You see what I'm saying? So you got the players on the defense that's going to respect you. You still got an opportunity to go out and get you a coordinator that's innovative, that can help the offense. Defense is still running the same thing. Bubba gets the deuces. And we talking about moving. Come on, bro. Like, this is easy money. This is easy money. I mean, from the names I'm seeing, and here's another thing. These names is underwhelming. It's a lot of cats that's just like, man, hire Cliff Kingsbury and watch Watson get back to top 5. G-Money to Uptown. Assistant Coach of the Year, #1 defense coach Schwartz. Man, I see what you doing, G. Bush. See this? Listen, maybe it's just me, man. Look, man. I know y'all, it's a lot of people pulling out. They think I just only talk Shedeur. Man, I got schemes for, I got coach schemes. Trust me. We going to come back. This is a long process, fellas. We going to get this coaching search together. And then once we get that coaching source, that coaching source together, then we're going to get to the offensive coordinator. Then we're going to drill down on that. Then we're going to get to these free agents. Then we about to get to this combine. We about to get to this draft. We already on Wednesday talking about receivers. And then we're going to continue to roll. Then the draft come up. Like, listen, guys, if you're not locked in right now, I'm telling you, bro, if you're not locked in, if you're not in the barbershop, if you're not doing the memberships, if you're not pulled up, trust me, we giving you 2+ hours of we don't even do lives that's under an hour. The rest of these dudes doing 15, 20 minutes. Over here, we're going to give you the reviews. We're going to get you educated on the draft. We're going to go free agency. We talk about the coaching search. If you want to be a part and get the membership jumping. Speaking of, are we good with we good with all the birthdays, right? We got all the T-shirts out. We'll be sending, we got another batch. I want to make sure we got everybody together. We sending another batch. We'll be answering all the emails about your shirts. We sending a batch out of them joints today. So if you have not got a reply to your email about your shirt, all members at the top level, platinum tier members, they get a gift every year. We got t-shirts going out. We've done a pretty good job of getting everybody out there. Any email, if you have not got your shirt, Fifth Dimension Media 1@gmail.com. Fifth Dimension Media 1@gmail.com is where you can send it. Send us your name, your address, and what shirt size. We'll get that out to you. We got another batch going out today. With that being said, let's keep it pushing. Let's get some super chats. Make decent time. Make some decent time. Dang. Let's see. Congrats. So first and foremost, thank you, Desmond Johnson, for becoming a member. We appreciate you. Welcome to the family. And we plan on having a good time this season. Black Angus, history repeats. Dorsey picked Freddie, someone he could control instead of what was best. AB learned from the past. See, I don't think in this case, I don't think Tommy Rees is getting the Freddie Kitchens move. Now, Jim Schwartz to Greg Williams, which, by the way, Greg Williams is not, he's nowhere near the coordinator that Jim Schwartz is. But I see the analogy, though, and I don't think they'll do that. J-Back Too Fresh, we gotta repeat this again. Get to 5 Garrett Bush memberships. Thank you so much. You're well too kind. The more I watch Mendoza, the more I want the Browns to trade up for him. Not gonna lie, G. Bush. KSTO. Here's your problem. I like Mendoza. Here's your problem. There's 2 things that I worry about with Mendoza. 2 things. Now, I'm on record saying I think he'll be good in the league. Here's the problem. I really have a problem with the offense they run. They run more RPOs. Over 50% of every pass is RPO. It's a run pass option. And I get it, they run that in the league, but that's not something you can sustain in the league. That's just not something they're going to do. And my problem is, I want to see, and this is the hard part about any quarterback. When it comes to drop back, there's going to be a lot of drop back mechanics where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-step, 7-step drop. And I want to see what it look like in terms of reading the coverage. Now, the one thing that I'm going to give him credit for is his back shoulder fade is diabolical. Like, he throw the back shoulder fade as well as anybody. That timing. On the RPO, like, if you make the wrong mistake, he gonna make the right play, whether it's giving it to the running back or finding where the receiver is. He gonna do that every time. I think he's a lot like Shedeur Sanders in his mobility. I think one of the underrated parts of his game is his mobility and his pocket awareness, because he when he gets out, he's able to extend enough to get some plays. And I think people, misconstrued him. It was a statue. So I do like some parts of his game. I like the fact he's accurate. And here's another thing too. You can say he's quirky or whatever the case may be. It seems to be that his teammates like him. It seems to be his energy is infectious. So all that stuff that people say, oh, he kind of weird. I'm like, listen, I'm not about to do that, because I think Shedeur is infectious. I think he has that it quality. I think he has some of that same stuff where it's like the people on the outside may look at it a certain way, but the people on the inside is rocking with it. So I got to give him credit for that. But I do think that by far, out of the rest of these dudes in this draft, it's not close. Dante Moore is nowhere near that dude's level at all. None. Ty Simpson, nowhere near it. Stop. It's not even close. And this the difference, and this the problem I'll be having with these dudes, bro. Like, I'll be having problems because it feel like if I could be objective and I could point out to the good things based on the tape that I haven't seen, why can't you do the same thing when it comes to Shedeur Sanders? There's throws. You know how stupid I would look if I say, oh man, Mendoza, he's garbage. Think about this. Understand this. What if I said Mendoza should go undrafted? That's the equivalent of people saying Shedeur Sanders is the worst quarterback in the league. Do you see the conundrum? Do you see the juxtaposition? Do you see that? Do you see where I say do you see where I can say Dante Moore, I don't think he played that well, and I think you need to go back to college, but I'm not going to say that he can't fix stuff and next year be a guy that could be a top quarterback. Do you see the difference in the commentary? Do you see? I'm not going to say Ty Simpson is super garbage, but he's a better prospect than Dylan Gabriel. I don't see him going past no third round. But when we talk about Shedeur Sanders, it's a bunch of hot take stuff mixed in nothing. Just emotion and feeling about nothing. Now, if I can sit here and say objectively about these quarterbacks, then what is your problem? Clip that. Somebody clip it. I don't understand it. Desmond Johnson, it's going to be more GMs fired after the 26th season if they reach for any of the quarterbacks in this class. Worst quarterback class I've seen in a long time. I think about it. If Mendoza is like Goff or Kirk Cousins, if you say, all right, man, would you take Kirk Cousins or Goff at 1? Goff actually did go 1. Right? So it's comparable. Mr. Lloyd's rant about Shedeur 92.3 The Fan reminds me of Archie Bunker complaining because the Jeffersons moved in and became his new neighbors. Yeah, I think, look, and that's another thing too. Like a lot of people, like, this is crazy work. And I be trying to tell them, we be on the show. And I told people all the time, like, look, I'm just be honest with you. Like, people write, there's sometimes when people write super chat, somebody write a super chat and they write a super chat and that's their opinion. I'm going to read the super chat. I might not agree with it. Now, if you say anything like malicious where like you go into somebody's, like you calling them out their name, talk about their family, saying anything with violence or anything like that, obviously I'm not going to do that. But here's the point. If you are a public figure, and I tell all my hosts this, I tell everybody I work with, so maybe we can put this all to bed. Everybody. This is everybody. I'm not, listen, let's put it to, Jay-Z said, hey, let's put this into speculation. I'm talking to all of y'all. If you say something publicly and I didn't tell you to say that, that was your take. I've said this consistently. If you are a public figure and it is your take and you are saying things that people don't agree with, that's not my fault. That's not up to me to decide. I didn't tell you what to say. I didn't say what you should say. I didn't put listen, I'm living my life over here doing what I do. If you said that on another platform or wherever you are, you got to stand by that. My job is not to then, what do you want me to do? Let me give y'all a heads up. And maybe this could dead everything. There has never, ever, ever, and I've been in this game I've been in this game since 2008 doing this stuff on the internet. It is now 2025. I've had radio shows, I've had television shows, I've done all of the whole gambit. I have never, ever in my life gone to another host and said, well, how come why didn't you protect me? Or why didn't you say this? Or you should have said that when somebody said, no, that's not the game. It's not the game. You are a public figure. If G. Bush say what he say and leave it where it's at and I deal with what it is, what are you talking? Nobody has ever said, well, no, don't do that. Even when people said I didn't have no sources and the internet went crazy, insinuated I didn't have sources, it is nobody's job to come to my defense and say I didn't have sources. Now, Peterland know me and joints, so they know me. They pulled up on me. All right, that's what's up. They say, oh, yeah, G. Bush got his stuff. G. Bush cool. People been reaching out to G. Bush for years. But the reality of the situation, I didn't need that because I just stand on what I stand on. And I'm never going to go to nobody and be like, well, no, that I stand on what I stand on. We are public figures. If you say something with your chest and that's how you feel, then you got to defend how you feel. And I'm not talking about one specific person. I'm talking about the entire industry. And I'm more in greater context is we talking about, and to put it in perspective, is what TJ Ward is saying. Like, guys, we are public figures. It's like politicians being mad that people comment on them. You're a politician. You're running for public office. We get on, there's 4,000 people listening to this, right? We do millions and millions and millions of people watch what we do. You can't reap the benefits of saying millions of people watch me. I can pay for my lifestyle. I can do what I need to do. But then again, when people don't agree with you, this is out of pocket. No, people got a right to say what they gonna say. If they don't agree with your take, they don't agree with it. Stop crying about it. But because you don't cry about it when they agree with you. You do victory eyes to say I was right. So I don't know. I just don't get it. Again, I'm not gonna keep wasting time about it, but stop crying, fellas. Individuals, people, as a collective group of media. Come on. Like we starting to sound like we in 5th grade. Steven 7701. Dream coach hire Mike McDaniel as head coach. Dan Pitcher is OC. First pick Tate. Next 3 picks offensive line. I don't know if we can. That's crazy. Tate at 6. We'll be talking about that. I'm starting to think that we might go offensive line higher. But stick around. We got the film work to prove it. Selmo Fudd, member for 3 months. We appreciate you, my guy. 2026, we don't miss. Smash that like button and support G. Bush and the Barbershop and Kool-Aid Mafia. We dog pound. We legendary. Selmo Fudd, we appreciate you, my guy. CMD Playtown. Or is that Towan? Towan, I think. We all knew that D. Podesta was in charge while Barry was there. Seems like Barry has just gotten in charge of things, and that's why he was not fired. So you're meaning to tell me the guy whose name was Chief Strategy Officer over all strategies he was running? Yeah, he was running the show. We knew that. And I told you what it was back when I said, yeah, he up out of here. He was in charge, and it didn't pay no dividends. And then Jimmy found out he didn't know what he was doing. A baseball guy talking football. Wild work. Black Angus, so Jimmy is saying it without saying it, that all the moves made in the previous years were not all driven. Oh, there you go. This is why we give you visuals. And we putting this thing together, Black Angus, so you can get it. You feel what we putting down? Emmanuel Johnson, fools don't understand. The front office sees how the team responds to Shedeur. AB highlights the game-winning drive in a recent interview. They see all of this. Everybody else chooses to be blind to it. Oh, you want that? Oh. Chooses to be blind to it. It's there if you want to look at it. But that's why people discounted those last 2 wins. Look at the way they speak about those wins. Look about the way they talk about how the team rallies around and how the young guys, they see what it is. You don't think that these guys, and by the way, Myles Garrett has already talked about with Shedeur Sanders what he felt and how he looked and what it was. Come on now. Why you think Why? Go back and listen to. Go back. I wish I had that. Go back and listen to Shedeur's last final press conference when he talked about after the game what does he learn, and he said his energy was a little down. I believe Andrew already done talked to him. Him and Kevin had a conversation, and they probably put some things on the table. Him and Kevin and Shedeur. But Andrew talked to Shedeur after the game and said, listen, hey, bro, we did our thing this year, but let's let you know that we got a target on our back next year. Because if we moving on from Kevin and you about to be the quarterback, then it's going to be a lot of people ready to write that why am I here? Why are you here? Why is Deshaun Watson? The whole thing. So we better get the wins to come with it, or who's the next person that they coming after. And it only took a couple days, and that's who they was coming after. If you still want Baker Mayfield, somehow you mad about that, you don't like KB. If Kevin got fired, he didn't, you don't like it. You don't like the fact that Shedeur is still here. You don't like the fact that Deshaun Watson is still here. You don't like the fact that Jimmy has some like all of this stuff. And I keep trying to tell him, y'all can stop trying to paint me as the Andrew Berry. Listen, he can do no wrong. I was telling you that I didn't like certain picks before that. However, I can also say at the same time that why he is here today is because of what he did in this year's draft and the moves he's made. And by the way, it's ultimately up to Jimmy Haslam. So, I mean, the deflection don't work. I mean, like, years. No. Listen, I may be the Pied Piper, but we don't have people that's in here that just moves to everything I'm saying. We drink Kool-Aid, but we ain't stupid. We got people that can agree to disagree over here. Like, let's not acting like everybody is in some fairy tale la land. Let's stop doing that, people. It's not gonna work. Let me see this. Miss Bell, Barry let Haslam know he had a plan and then drafted Shedeur. Made a path to get a coach that'll develop Shedeur, then draft Shedeur some help. Smart man if so. I always say this. I always say this. If this is what we doing, how we moving with this, what we need to get to is we need to say, just look at what his track record is. And you tell me that ain't his guy. Because now I'm looking up and the quarterbacks ahead of him got moved and the coach is gone. Kevin House, AB drafted a superstar quarterback in the 5th round. He made the Browns a talking point on ESPN every single week since training camp and sold the top 10 in jerseys. Kevin, I think a lot of people discount that. Jimmy Haslam has one of the most valuable organizations, and you mix the fact that the Cleveland Browns have one of the most loyal fan bases in the world. You go back and look at Browns backers all around this country. Go back and look at Browns backers. There's people that watch this blog about the Browns in every corner of the United States. Shout out to the Honolulu, Hawaii Browns backers. Some of them folks over there, they've been getting up and watching the Barbershop, and they've been up over there in Hawaii watching this at 3, 4, 5 in the morning because of the time difference. You got people in England, Ireland, all across this world that is hooked to the Cleveland Browns. And you just plugged in that loyal fan base with another fan base of a guy that's one of the most famous people in the game. Not to mention he can play. I always got to throw that on there. Because I think it's disrespectful to the foundation and principles of what the foundation of my football commentary is. It's about play. I could do the rest of the stuff, but it's about play too. Why you feel like, and I keep having to educate people. I come from the Black community. Black people don't get starstruck. Some of us do. Let's take it too far. Some of us be starstruck. But where I come from, there's people who inside your own circle is a superstar. inside your own community is a community leader, and they don't do nothing. They got a regular job, but they the leader. You go to the hood, you go to the street. It's a guy you don't know, don't see him, he the dude. Anything moving around here, you got to come through him. If you want somebody in the know, you go to him. If you need a guy to do something, you go to him. What are we talking about right here? We ain't fans. Like, you got to think about this. I try to tell him the way it worked. I respect Shedeur Sanders. I respect Jimmy Haslam. I respect all these guys. I respect the whole Sanders family. But I'm here to talk about football. I'm here to talk about, I'm not over here trying to, y'all be getting it confused. We're not trying to, Shedeur Sanders and me or any other kind, we're not about to go out and have hot dogs. Now hit me up if you want me to come over. I can really get the hot dogs together and then get twisted, Prime. But I always told people like this, even if I met Shedeur Sanders, which you don't know if I did or haven't, or Coach Prime, you wouldn't know about it. You know why? Because I understand what the crazy part about it is. They do little things to discredit. Now, you could go meet a quarterback and do an interview with him, but if I do an interview with him, all of a sudden I'm doing it for clicks. I'm doing it because I'm pandering. I said, bro, I told you I would draft him at number 2. How am I pandering now when he's a 5th round pick and he's balling and threw for 360? Well, maybe if you wasn't in your feelings, you could see that too. Yoshi Doshi, did you see the slip where Barry told Siciliano they wanted Shedeur week 1? That was a huge point of for the coaching short search. Who likes Shedeur that much? And remember, we got to that. Remember, we got to that. See, y'all be already on it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be on it. Y'all pull up. Y'all be on it. We weaved that together. I seen that early. I said, oh, okay. We ain't even go below the spot up with it too. We ain't even go below. Like, that was just a little nugget for them. That's for y'all that don't know. You know what I'm saying? Catch up. DK 1028. We appreciate you, my bro. Welcome to the family. Black Loud Ghetto. I'm tired of Jason blaming Shedeur. The NFL did this by drafting him in the 5th round. They're trying to humble him, and it backfired. They made him bigger. Jason, tell your media to stop asking him questions. Here's the thing. I hope after today, in this conversation, for everyone, and I'll tell you, I don't have the energy to be talking about it. See, that 5th round pick conversation is null and void. He ended the season as quarterback 1 and 2 wins. So any backtracking, Bible always talks about the promised land is in front of you, not behind. Don't turn back. People who turn back ain't fit for the kingdom. We ain't looking backwards. We're looking forward. Swanson Family Farm. We need Cleveland's media to speak victory into the team. Stop speaking flaws first. I want to be a fan. Man, first thing you got to understand is you got to choose and pick and choose what you hear. Pick and choose what you let into your spirit. All this talk about this being the worst job and it's the worst whatever and it's the worst. Man, it only take a couple people to change stuff. When 2 touch and agree. Man, it's a thing called synergy, bro. And one of the things is a lot of people don't understand that. And a lot of people that be doing a bunch of stuff ain't never won nothing. That's why it's important for kids to play team sports. It's important for them to understand those things. It's important. You know, my mom and dad, it was a point in time where they was like, yo, we want to send your son away to be a gifted foreign exchange student. And they said, nah, you're going to stay right in these city schools. You know why? That's what you could be smart anywhere. But they wanted to see me. They wanted me to get the struggle, the realness, the ability to feel comfortable not only around other people, but your own people. See, what happens is sometimes it's very difficult. When you get to a place, you see less and less black people. So you may even get to a point where you start feeling comfortable around every other community, but you can't even feel comfortable around your own. So that was a big thought process. So, you know, when you talk about synergy and energy and thinking different and being different, those are all things that you got to live with and roll with. And I want somebody who want to change something, not live on nobody else's fears. I don't live in your fears. If I lived in your fears, I wouldn't be who I was, and I wouldn't be where I am today. Because you got to be fearless to even do something like this. I told them, I told God, I want to be a sportscaster. You know, he told me, he said, well, update your resume and stop putting other jobs on there. I went on LinkedIn immediately, took all my experience. I've worked in corporate America for 5-10 years in management, high level. He said, take it off the resume. Don't look back. I updated my LinkedIn and I started getting calls. You got to change the way you think. You got to first speak it into existence and then live in that. But if you sitting here talking about this, the worst job, they ain't about to do this, they ain't about to do that, they ain't about to. Man, I think you projecting. You telling me all your insecurities about what you think you ain't done. Now, we got to be realists, but at some point in time, we can't be in your fears 24/7, 365. And it gets draining too. That's why I told you all this the last week. So get it all out now. Everybody get it all out now. Because as you see the content roll through, this is less and less about talking about other people. This is more and more telling you about what the Cleveland Browns they need to do to move forward. It's a transition. Leave all of that back where it was at. Because where you at now is not where you started at. Always understand that. And where you at now ain't where you trying to go to. Ben Scott, Shedeur can win. We know. Can the Browns? We gonna see. Very committed to 12 week 1 on a podcast for 2026. No manners, right? That might be it. It might be. We appreciate you. Yeah, we played that. We got to that. Through the Fire podcast, did you know Shedeur had 400 more yards than Tom Brady when you compare their first 6 rookie starts and they had the same number of TDs? I did not know that. See how them stats can make you look? Cleveland needs to hire her for the analytics. Hey, I will listen. Say what you want about the Browns and Jimmy Haslam. The thing that I can recognize and respect from them is the Haslams have always had a representation, a strong representation of females in the organization, as well as minorities in the organization. You go back and look at the level of minorities, African Americans hired in the front office, in the coaching staff has always been tops in the league, one of the top teams in the league. And for women candidates and women being represented, when you go to on campus, the Browns have women working in every single level of the organization. So I commend them for that. They've always done a good job in making sure their representation has been throughout. And I've always respected, one thing I respect about the Haslams is I've always respected Jimmy Haslam, always respecting his wife as an equal partner. Very, very few owners and very few guys and people in ownership at that level do that. I don't know if they've thought about that, but I've always respected that. He always says when it comes to ownership is D and Jimmy Haslam. And so I've always appreciated that unified front, and I always thought that was classy myself. Did you see Dan Orlovsky and the other national media members crashing out that Stefanski got fired? Never seen a mediocre coach been so overrated in my life. The one thing, Hakeem, We appreciate the super chat. One thing that I've always taken consideration and watched is that coaching is a fraternity. It is a fraternity. And one thing I realized that I wanted to be a graduate assistant for like 5 seconds. I thought about coaching for 6 seconds and then got into it and looked into it and realized I wasn't cut for it. Because one of the main reasons and one of the main issues is when you talk about coaching is you never show up a coach. You never say anything on record bad about a coach. And you always, always, always obey the chain of command, whether you're right or wrong. In coaching, there's rules and regulations, unwritten rules and regulations. And one of the things is coaching is all about securing your opportunity to continue to be in. That's why coaches have a union. That's why coaches, their salaries are never put in public. It's not public knowledge. You don't know how much these coaches are making, and they do that for a reason because it makes them seem more like the common human. Regular people identify more with coaches over players because coaches, they live in secrecy. You only see a certain amount of them. They do a good job of making themselves look like every man, but that's by design because they never tell you how much a coach is making. It's the reason why coaches in college get more heat than coaches in the pros. Because Lane Kiffin, when he want to go to another school, they already done broadcasted his salary. Well, they work for government, publicly held schools. Those are state institutions. So we have a right to know what my taxpayer dollars is going to in terms of your buyout and your contract or whatever it is. So in the pros, they don't do that. You don't know how much money Kevin Stefanski make, but think about it. Think about it if you knew, and it's not necessarily true. Think about if you knew if Kevin Stefanski was the highest paid coach or not. If you knew he was the highest paid coach and he made it a clock management issue or took Shedeur out the field and ran wild dog, you would flip out and say, how is this dude making X amount of money? He need the highest paid. But here's the thing. We know how much Deshaun Watson is making. So we know how much he making. So now, if Deshaun Watson don't play good, you're going to say he got the allegations, plus he didn't play good, we had to give up these picks and the guarantee contract. There's reasons for this, people. It's reasons. Levitt 6. That's why Kevin Stefanski shouldn't be allowed to coach ever again. He's a calculated snake. Now, I try to always give people grace to change. And I try to give people an opportunity to make amends on their mistakes, right? So I'm not going to begrudge him, but I'm cool as him being my head coach, right? I'm cool on that. I mean, he has questionable things. But I hope you wish you best in your future endeavors through the Fire podcast. G. Bush, did you see that Shedeur had a better first 6 games than Manning? Shedeur had more touchdowns, more passing yards, better rating, less interceptions than Peyton Manning's first 6 games. I'm just saying. And we back to them statistics again. Ain't it funny how sometimes statistics can show you a little something, right? I mean, you can find anything to say what you want, right? But I like the fact that you're given a statistic that can kind of fight back against some things. You see how I can point to say, well, if that's true, well, shouldn't Shedeur be a Hall of Famer then? No, nobody would say that. But on the other end of the spectrum, just because you could find a stat that says in those same 6 games he didn't perform well, you shouldn't say he's the worst quarterback in history. You see how context works. James Cosby, thank you so much for your super chat. We appreciate you so much and your kindness. Hino Fit, I'm a CU fan. We watched Shedeur play with a bad offensive line for 2 years, good prepared with 4. This God prepared him for this. Stefanski is not God. Pressure makes diamonds go buffs. Yeah, nobody is God. Me, you, nobody. So all you should do is continue to go through, persevere, get better in the off season, and then that's the thing. People say get Shedeur out of here. I'm glad he's going through some things because what he's going through today is going to ultimately pay dividends in the future. Joint JDMBA. Shedeur Sanders was sacked against the Bills on 4th and 7. No max blindside protection to help 68 on a critical play. Shameful. 68 was singled up a lot. Singled up a lot. Old girl Leah was dropping some facts. Bro, she had the sack rate and everything. She had it precise. Riri lady. G. Bush hasn't been wrong yet. I hope the supporting cast of those lame ducks on the show are paying attention. They doing it. Listen, they all doing something else. They probably either sleep or hanging out with their family doing something. But we work it over here. It's for me in the barbershop. We cook in the morning. It's on Saturday. Nicole, how you doing? Kevin had 8 wins in 2 years, but Shedeur grown Sanders had 3 of those wins in a month and a half and with on-the-job training. Ain't it funny how them wins stack up? See, Nicole, they're a little salty right now. Nicole, they hot. You know why? He got them 2 wins. Them 2 wins hurt their soul. They got the quarter. So you've been to tell me in 3.5 months, think about this. Stefanski got up out of here. They wasn't getting no more quarterbacks. And this dude, Shedeur is just, he just solidified, like they ain't getting rid of him either. He looked like he gonna be number 1 kill. They salty about that. And they had people's crying, opening their jerseys for Christmas. It's been a tough 4 weeks for people. I can see why. It's been a tough 4 weeks. Yoshi Doshi, hit that like button, y'all. We appreciate you. We got to play this again. Tristan Skywalker. Experts use EPA to drag 12. Judkins' EPA ranks him as one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, but Bull, Jason, and Jay say Judkins is special and blaming struggles on the line. Jason never gives 12 the grace. Does 12 need a block for himself better and catch his own passes? When you take in consideration, you talk about people taking sacks. All sacks aren't created equal. All sacks are not a quarterback stat. All sacks are not an offensive line stat. You can get sacked because, guess what? Nobody was open. You can get sacked because you slipped and fell. You can get sacked because the offensive line got beat. You can get sacked because the offensive line got beat, but you gave the wrong protection. You could get sacked because it's just a good play by the defense. Again, what in football, we make boogeymen out of certain things and we hang our hat on to try to pin up certain thoughts and narratives. Sacks are part of the game. They just are. It's not nothing unique to Shedeur Sanders. It's not unique to, no, it's part of the game. It happens. Keisha says, riddle me this. Shedeur isn't great. Flip anyone that you put back there will have the same results. Which is that? Which is it? He isn't good, or he needs personnel. Flip anyone you put back there will have the same results. Which is it? What you found was take a look at what we talk about with watching the game with Dante Moore. He multiple fumbles, multiple sacks in the pocket, multiple interceptions, pick sixes, right? That's and Oregon has a good line, and they got good skill positions, and they got the best roster money can buy. But it still happened. So when we are given all these, jumping and now saying that for Shedeur, watch how they are easily able to dismiss that when it comes to people they like. Nobody was jumping up and down when Dillon Gabriel got sacked 6 times against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just saw Shedeur Sanders play against the Steelers. Did he get sacked 6 times? No. As a matter of fact, they won. Where was all the EPA stats? Think about this. The EPA stats didn't come around till Shedeur started playing. You see, the standards be quadrupled. Like they wasn't. Where was all the conversations about Why Dylan Gabriel ain't standing by Shedeur learning the playbook? Where was all of the did we one time go interview Dylan Gabriel when Shedeur was the starter? So why was you interviewing Shedeur when Dylan was the starter? We didn't hear about what backwards hat Dylan wore. We know why. We absolutely know why. Vigilant Hawk. I'm going to need you to keep the same energy in UCSS. If it dangers the bag, keep doing your thing. I think we discussed that too. My role on UCSS is not the same role on here. UCSS is a 2-hour show produced with topics that are picked by producers. We each get a few minutes or moments to give our opinion, and we go back and forth, and then we get to another topic. The show is composed mostly of 4 panel members. That means 4 people have to talk. It is composed of interviews, in each of us get maybe 1 question. And we have 2 producers, 1 person who's clipping, and an executive producer. So my role on UCSS, as much as people may look into it, is a much more condensed, different type of format than what we do here. And here, this is my format. I control it. I say what I want. I do what I want. I produce it. It takes I got concepts. Right now we've been doing this for almost 3 hours. We read every single super chat on UCSS. You can't read every single super chat because there's too many of them. So the formats are different. So a lot of people say, hey, why don't you say, contrary to popular belief, it is not, you can't, everything I disagree with, I can't just cut people off and say, I don't agree with that. Here's why. That's called derailing the topic in the show. Now, if I want to give my opinion, I will tell people, hey, I was talking about this earlier. Let me give my opinion on it. And you can get an unbridled opinion of what it is that I mean to say. And you can get it uninterrupted and fleshed out. So that's that's the way it would be. DK1028. If you were going to be called the Shedeurians, then I'm calling them the asses because all of their points are asinine. Salute G. Bush. I'm a member now. I appreciate you. They call y'all prime sexuals and all this other stuff. And like, come on, man. I just been making them noise. So I don't understand why you think you can call them that and they're not going to say nothing to you. I don't get it. Through the Fire podcast, Josh Allen, first 6 rookie head starts. Passing yards, 832 yards, 2 touchdowns, passer rating of 61.8. And Shedeur Sanders passing 1,407 touchdowns, passer rating of 68.1. Have I made my point? Yeah. The point is, when you're a rookie, you struggle. You could be up and down. Your play has a lot to do with the surrounding cast, even coaching, play calling, all the above. And to make an assessment on somebody within 6 or 7 games is not really something that you can extrapolate over a large sample size. Neil Gray, Brown has a solid foundation to build upon. Outstanding rookies, seasoned vets. Just need a good 2026 class, invest in the quarterback development and offensive coach, and keep Watson as their Deshaun as the vet. I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said. Couldn't say it better. Nita says the local media need to get in transition plan to upskill or exit plan to fix their credibility issues for next season. Else, they won't have any views to keep their jobs. They better stop crashing out. I mean, I think when you get new information, it's always easier to pivot, right? Andrew Berry looks like he's going to be here. Let's figure out what we need to talk about with the Cleveland. My goal is to talk about the Browns. When I said Kevin Stefanski should have been fired 2 or 3 years ago, I was in the minority. People said they're not going to do that. So, I mean, I didn't crash out every week, the Browns didn't make the move. So I need to adjust accordingly. If Kevin's not going to be there, let's critique Kevin on what he's doing on the field then. You know what I mean? But I can't. I got to live in reality of what it is. right? Improving your life. Who is the wide receiver they got from the CFL? Wooden? They got a receiver from the CFL. I got to take a look at that. We can figure that out. Let me see. All right. So here we go. Thank you for asking that question. What I do is try to do things in real time. Try to get you guys asked for it. So let me figure it out. Okay. So apparently, let me take this down. The Cleveland Browns have signed punter Nick Castano and wide receiver Isaiah Wooden to their reserve future contracts. Castano is a 6'3", 225, is officially in his first NFL season out of Texas A&M. He was originally signed by the Denver Broncos as an undrafted free agent in 2024. More recently, he spent time with the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL. Wooden, 5'9", 170, is officially in his first NFL season out of the Southern Utah. Originally signed by the Atlanta as an undrafted free agent in 2024. He spent time with the Falcons 2024 and the Chargers 2024. Wooden also spent time in the CFL with the BC Lions and then Hamilton Tiger Cats. So there you have it. There you have it. JB Spoon 92, people say I'm hating, but when I watch him in Zoa, I see assistant quarterback who operates well. And when things are clean and clear, no real have any special attributes. 12 was out there creating and won mixtapes. I think, and I kind of alluded to this. One of the things that I worry about is when you're not running RPOs, when how can he do if he a straight drop back dude, know nothing, get to my reads and make them throws. But I think he has talent. It's just about, what they do. And a lot of it is what they put around him. A lot of it is, are they going to make the system around him? Because you can try to minimize some of his not so strong suits until he can develop some of those things. Dante Moore is more competent, less athletic. Justin Fields, Sapper Daddy. I don't even see the athleticism in Dante Moore like that. He kind of, Tanya says 12 is a quarterback one. A stimulus package for Haslam and Cleveland and Titans game was the big time politics, aka boosters in the sidelines, ticket sales and talent. Racist Cleveland media knows it. We can see the hate. I think when you look at it, when I seen Prime in the building, I kind of knew what it was. Because Prime not just going to show up willy-nilly. Like, if he ain't talked to nobody, he not about to show up for none of that. He ain't about to do all that. Carlton Childs, I get Barry was strategic from not naming a starter, but the Giants and Saints have Giants and Tennessee need coaches as well. They didn't shy away from giving the confidence in a young quarterback. That's tough. With the Saints and the Giants, Saints and the Giants, they don't deal with the same thing we deal with. Like, in terms of the Giants, you take a look at it. Watch this. Let me see. And I'll put it in perspective. I'm going to put it in perspective. Brian Daboll got fired. Brian Daboll got fired early. Let me pull this up. so we'll put this in perspective so you can get it. These is Jackson Dart stats, right? So what's more evident is Jackson Dart stats. So when you look at Jackson Dart stats, he has enough of a sample size where you can't really knock that. So 63 completion, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and he's rushed for I think six or something touchdowns as well. So when they fired their coach in the middle of the season, they already made the decision when they fired the coach who they was rolling with. It's the same thing with the Browns. If the Browns didn't believe in Shedeur Sanders, why would Kevin Stefanski have been fired? He would have never played if Stefanski was here. And if he would have never played, Stefanski would have still continued to be here and playing Dylan Gabriel. He lost, just like Dable lost. So the new coach coming in, obviously, is going to deal with Jackson Dart because that's what it is. But it's a different situation and standard of you don't got people over in the Giants or in the Saints running around here still upsetting their feelings and mad writing articles because Kevin Stefanski got fired. So they hedging their bets. They putting people at it. Does you no good to sit here and come out and say Shedeur Sanders is going to be your starting quarterback today, because it just does you no good. Why do I need to say that when I didn't already talk to him and the owner didn't talk to him and the owner doesn't know what it is? See, you got to learn that you ain't got to give the media nothing because they've already told you they're not an honest arbiter. They said that they was cool with having a quarterback competition, and then Shedeur got in and said that's the reason he wasn't playing. They're not interested in having no conversation. These are the same people asking you please throw your coach under the bus. Talk about the play calling. Did you like it? I'm not giving them nothing. What we're gonna do is if I done spoke to you man to man, and I done looked at you and you done seen everything that we talked about, was already understood, don't need to be said. I done already talked it. It is what it is. Y'all think what y'all want. And now you have nothing to go off of. It's the correct move. He said reps that aren't needed, those aren't needed. Shedeur got none. See, Miss Bell? You don't need no reps. Well, Dante Moore said that come with reps. I think reps count. And this the guy. You see, you don't miss nothing. You don't miss nothing, Miss Bell. You don't miss nothing. What if Krevin dropped the bomb on 12 before the Bengals game? I believe this is why Sanders' energy was off during the game, and the weapons they gave him 12 went to war with. He knew before the game. I think he knew before the game. I think they had a conversation before the game. He said he had a conversation. And, the weight of that is a little different. You don't never know how you handle it. And maybe that was the only time they was going to have a conversation back and forth about why it was that he wasn't playing or didn't get the chance to play or whatever the conversation may have. It might have been an emotional conversation. But the great thing about it is he still came back and figured it out and they won the game. G. Bush, there is a fourth group who want any quarterback but Shedeur. That's a contingency too. Yeah, there's a group of them, and they kind of throw Watson in there because they just like he needs to be gone. And even though the owner just told you that wasn't happening. Doggy Bum Mendoza is benefiting from a superior team. Indiana is built with 4 to 7 year players. Indiana is where good coaching meets experience. Average players are 2 years max. That's why Indiana looks elite. Now, I agree with that. I told somebody on the show, when you're dealing with now with NIL is different. NIL is different now. You better off recruiting guys from programs with track records. And in the game, they talked about it. Cincinnati wants guys that can play. It don't matter if you D2, D4, D whatever. It just goes to show you that the best players coming out of high school are not the best players that you see in college. There's players who slip through the cracks all the time. There's players who weren't given an opportunity or maybe play in a different position, or they just develop. So now that's what it's about. Give me good teams. I would rather draft a starting tackle that went to Kent State or Akron that played for 2 or 3 years than draft a 17-year-old out of high school that I got to develop and who's going to transfer anyway if he don't play. So that's what the game is now. The encouragement after. Thank you for the super sticker. We appreciate you. Nita, unless I'm missing something, I have not seen Cleveland complying with the Rooney Rule. Yes. I think, what's the name counts? Dirty. I think and if they do, by the way, Mike McDaniel is technically, I think he's part black too. So there's a couple of people. By the way, this isn't the end all be all, because there's a lot of people that they can bring in after the whole preliminary thing. So this is the first wave of people coming in for interviews. Eric Bieniemy need to be the head coach. Freddie Mayo, the great. This is the problem I have when people are sitting around here talking about why people ain't going to take no jobs. I mentioned this. I said, how's that worked out for Eric Bieniemy? Let's be honest with you. Like, Gerard Mayo was there for a year. He got fired after a year. Eric Bieniemy has still never been a head coach, and he has multiple Super Bowls, right? So the thing is, Flores is yet to be seen if he gets another opportunity and job. So the fact that we sitting here talking like minority candidates will not take jobs because of what's there, they're looking for opportunity to prove themselves. So this thought that we can just pass over and skip over stuff, no, that's not what it is. Let's not act like there's opportunities rampant in this industry, because Eric Bieniemy has not been mentioned for a job yet. Christopher Ryan, independents like yourself are exposing all the corporate media. Sports reporting has turned into political propaganda, except sports. Browns need to keep 12 and build around them. Yeah, independent media in this space is new. And it's now, I think most people are finding that the independent media is much larger and bigger than they once thought. Traditional print news is a thing that's, lost a lot of steam. There's no, when they stopped circulating newspapers, the internet and YouTube became a lot. Think about what happened with ESPN. Pat McAfee is the biggest name at ESPN. And he started where? On the internet. He's the biggest thing moving. The tide is shifted. Sports Center used to be the biggest thing I moved with. Everybody likes sports. Now people leave sports centers left and right, doing other different things, going to independent places, right? That independent content is different. You know what I'm saying? I used to do 4 or 5 hour radio shows. Last year, it's been about a year. I stopped doing a 5-hour radio show and started doing this. And this show has reached countless more people than I could ever reach at a radio program. And it just goes to show you the way that the climate has changed. Streamers, all those individuals play a big role in that. And so now players are in that space. Former national media or corporate media is in that space now. And everybody's competing and jousting for market space and market share. So, now people have opportunities to go to other places and seek out the information that they want. And I think it's a big part of what it is now. And it's uncomfortable to some, but for others, you embrace it or you become a dinosaur. It's either or. It's the way life and marketing and business works. I think it's an exciting time. People talk about, you want to get in sports? I tell people all the time, G. Bush, how do I get in sports? I said, buy you a microphone and a keyboard and a computer and start talking. I'm proof it can work. Christopher Robbins, independents like yourself exposing corporate media. Sports reporting has turned into political propaganda except it's sports. Browns need to keep 12 and build around them. I had to go ahead and do that twice. I had to go ahead and show you twice, man. We appreciate you, man. And Christopher Robbins became a member. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. Dave talks credit. Yeah, TJ Ward triggered him. That's another thing. They're not used to people that are athletes that are saying things like that. They're not used to people coming out and be like, man, listen, I mean to be. And my thing is too, I always question people and ask people, well, why is it that I don't have a problem with it? I'm part of the media. When TJ Ward says that the media is all negative, the Cleveland media, why am I not mad about that? Because I don't think he's talking to me. I don't go around. I was like, I don't like you. That person called everybody thugs. Man, I can never be a thug. They don't dress this well. I know you ain't talking to me. I know you ain't talking to little old G. Bush. Everybody in the Cleveland media is thugs. Why would I turn around and pay one attention to that? Because I know you're not talking to me. I know you ain't talking to me. I don't even pay no attention to that. Morris, Palmer, we appreciate the super sticker. Thank you so much. Sapper Daddy, I don't know what was going through Bull's head when he says he'll cut Deshaun Watson and take the cap hit. Like, dude, there's a reason you're not a GM. It's lunacy. Yeah, I'd be cracking up. Yeah, that's not going to happen. You can't. What do you mean cut him? For what? For why? Think about this. If they had a problem with Deshaun Watson, you think he would be showing up at his family gatherings? You think Haslam's wouldn't be pulling up at this man's wedding? What are you talking about? You think they would have Shedeur Sanders meeting with Deshaun Watson on the sideline after his first game? His first start? Come on now. Let's get to it. Does coach's money go against the cap? No, it doesn't. Coach's money is not against the cap. Good morning, Barbershop family. I was running errands this morning. What did I miss? Oh, you can rewind it. We went through the coaching search. We went through why the staff done already done told you what it is. 25% of the NFL needs coaches. I would like to roll the dice with Mike McCarthy. I don't know, man. Mike McCarthy, I don't know. I gotta look. I don't know about Mike McCarthy. Disco drip. Harbaugh was fired before Lamar saved his job. He's not a team builder or scheme genius. What is he good at? Carried by Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and Lamar. By the way, this is something. Harbaugh ain't running around, bro. Harbaugh, you go back and ask about Harbaugh in Baltimore. They threw a party. I mean, I have so many people from Baltimore about good riddance, good time. You got to think about it. The Baltimore Ravens had the MVP, and he could have won 3 MVPs while he was there. And you didn't win. You didn't get it done. You didn't win the big game, bro. Not as a matter of fact, that Pittsburgh Steelers team that you lost to, the Cleveland Browns beat the prior week with nobody. Nasty work. Patrick Williams, G. Bush, why are the narratives about Harbaugh only coming from Grossi and Mary Kay? Would have thought it would have come from his agent. Well, they might have came from the agent. The agent putting stuff out there. They might be talking to his agent. And the agent is being like, let me tell you where John is going to go. John is going there. This is what he wants. That's the way the game works. You're just getting your resume out there. I wholeheartedly don't believe that he will become the Cleveland. It just don't, the timelines don't match for me. Lawrence RBE, I'm questioning some fans of the Browns. Some are belly aching because the Browns fell out of Mendoza. It's easy to look great with protection. Wish him well, but I don't see it for unclean pockets. The thing that I get with Mendoza, and it is a very sound scheme, because the way they run those RPOs, it makes it seem as if those are design runs. They're not. He has a run pass option. They don't make mistakes. They have a really good offensive line, and the RPOs make it very difficult for you to really take away the passing lanes, because they do a good job in the numbers game. So when Mendoza is one read, getting to it, getting the ball out of his hands quick, it's over. On third down, he does a good job, and this is what saves him a lot, is he's pinpoint accurate on them back shoulders. He has a good receivers that understand. They work that back shoulder and they throw deep passes. And when you complete those passes, it makes you even more timid to come up and stop that. It makes you even more timid to add people to the box. But in terms of, it's very few times where I see him on film and they live and die with this, where it's a 5-step drop. He got to read the defense, and he need to elude in the pocket, get in the pocket, and find the angle to throw the football. That's not it. It's not it. That's not his game. It's not his game. Everything, that's why you see that. And it's very impressive. I'm not saying he can't be good, but there are some things that you do have to worry about at the next level. Lawrence. Where we at? KTV Watch. Much love, G. Bush. Big fan of your work. I love you. I love to interview you. I just put up an interview with Puka Nacua. Much love, bro. Keep going. KTV. Hit me up. We can do that. Hit me up. Hit me up at Fifth Dimension Media 1@gmail.com. We set something up, man. Beautifully blessed. Appreciate you becoming a member. Beautifully blessed. We appreciate you as always and your contribution. Good morning, G. Bush. Anyone is better than Stadumsky. Bevskid. Beautifully blessed says McDaniel was also fighting against a quarterback with brain injury. They waited too long to move from Tua. Being in the healthcare field, the signs were that Tua needs to retire. So a lot of people with the Tua thing is they was going back and forth with him, but they already gave Tua that bag. They gave him that extension, and it turned out to be bad for Flores. McDaniel, we'll see. I don't know what they're gonna do, because the cap hit on Tua is crazy. Lawrence RBE says, as for the coaching search, AB was smart to not publicly say it. It's 12, but I bet the plan for 12 is in the search. Contrary to the low tier media, the Browns is a coaching job many want. Undersell and over deliver. It does you no good to come out and be like, 12's our quarterback, so we can hear articles about why he ain't the quarterback and why you didn't vet him and why all that's good stuff. You tell 12, listen, we will go away, go to the offseason, get these dudes together, and let's keep it cooking. You can tell coaches, hey, listen, man, we're not going to tell you that 12 is the quarterback right now. We want to get you in the building and see what you're talking about. Why would I tell you before I bring you in that you're going to predetermine what's going to happen? We want to get your input on it. We ain't looking crazy. And by the way, what if somebody want to move up and get a quarterback? We need to hold in our cards and be like, we might take a quarterback so we can get some picks from you. It does you no good. Does you no good, my G. Okay, I'm convinced Short should be the new head coach. You like that presentation? Now, I don't know nothing. Don't listen. They can pick somebody else. I don't know. I'm just giving you my 2 cents, right? They can go in a different direction. There's a couple ways they can go. They got an opportunity. We'll see what it comes up with. But from the way I look at it, Beautifully Blessed says Miles doesn't play both sides of the football. Football is a team sport. One player can't do it all. So then they would have won all 17 games. Stop the nonsense. Yeah, I remember we had a conversation. We was arguing about that on UCSS. We was arguing about, I'm like, come on, man. Miles Garrett is dope. Don't get it twisted. I was the one telling y'all, yeah, stop. All the Miles Garrett slander is ridiculous. But, like, it's a team sport. Like, everybody has to play. He's a big part of it. G Money Uptown. Hire Cliff Kingsbury and watch Washington get back to top quarter. Cliff Kingsbury is out there a little bit as well. The encouragement after. Thank you for becoming a member. We appreciate you. And welcome to the family. T Storm. Get that membership, folks, because G is cooking. We appreciate you and the support. We try to give you good content. That's what we aim to do. Don Hall. Game review of the Bengals games with Tyvis. I think we talked about that a little bit. Here's what we might do. Here's what I'm going to do. I might, because I'm going to make sure y'all, I'm a man of my word. If y'all really want that review, what we'll do is I'll put that together and we'll give you a part of that review on Wednesday before we get to the receivers. How's about that? Is that something we can do, Rosie? All right. She gave me the permission. On Wednesday, we're going to go back. We're going to get you the game review. We're going to highlight it, and then we'll get to the receivers. I'm a man of my word. Lord of Judah, let Tyvis know that he's a real one for trolling the Coach Prime as head coach and Shiloh in the squad, giving them that man nightmares. I was being sitting up there, and I was like, listen, we need special teams cats. Listen, I told you, I said, man, listen, first and foremost, all jokes aside, listen, Prime does not want this headache. He don't want that. Listen, he out there impacting lives, putting guys in position, out there making moves in young people's lives, like really doing something. Shiloh is a model or something. Shiloh is out here. I think I watched his blog. One of his best ones. You ain't seen it, go check it out. He was doing a thrift store. This is how much of a see you auntie my aunt is. She said, Garrett, Shiloh, he went to the thrift store. Remember how we used to go to the thrift store with you and Larry? And we used to always go when y'all used to get y'all school clothes. We used to get them outfits together and we put them together. And they say, where you get that? And you say, this is second. Boy, don't you be telling nobody where you got that from. I say, yeah, and them was the good old days, right? Them was the good old days, the thrift store. But it was one of his best blogs. Shout out. Make sure y'all go check that out. Shiloh ain't worried about the Browns either. But it was funny, though. It was funny. Babskit, not to be creepy or too nosy, did you hear that 12 spiritual issues nephew was dealing with? Let's pray. He figured it out. Let's keep praying in the chat. Yeah, I think it's one of the best things about this game. It's one of the best things about it is understanding that. That's why I always tell people, nah, man, get Shedeur out of here. Nah, bro. He here for a reason. He here to you got to get what you gonna get. You can't fast forward no spiritual. You're supposed to be here for a reason. And sometimes you here for a reason to catch a lesson, to catch what you need to catch. And that growth, that spiritual growth is what you need in your journey. So you can't fast forward none of that. And everything that he went through this year is something that's going to motivate him and continue to make him grow in his journey. Because to be truthful, this is light. Where we going, where we trying to go, we talking about media people. Oh, this is the preliminary rounds. We ain't even got to the bosses yet. We ain't got to the point where we trying to fight to make the playoffs. We ain't to the point where you have a tough playoff loss. We ain't got to the point where you got to battle past injuries. We ain't been to the point where God forbid you get to the Super Bowl and we play horrible. Bro, we talk about going back and forth with media members. That battle is over. The big battle is what we come up, how we win this trophy. So that's why you say, G Bush, why you transitioning? Because this is light. We just figured out, everybody else is figuring out what everybody else already knew. Yeah, this is what's been happening behind closed doors. Like, y'all just now coming to this conclusion. We light years ahead of that. But we need those experiences in the spiritual journey to get where you need to go to fight the big battles. This ain't no boss. This ain't Shredder. This ain't Bowser. This not King Koopa. This is not. This ain't M. Bison. This ain't Shang Tsung. This ain't even Goro. I keep going. This is not the final boss. These are light adversaries. My video game thing. Reverend BJ Nelson at Well Off Media. Bucky, welcome. Keep doing a great job as you do. Bucky in the building. Shout out to him. Shout out to him in the building. Keep that film coming. Keep that coming. Yoshi Doshi. I combined pistol and West Coast offenses a decade ago. Do you think Shedeur would fit well in the type of offense, and why? Also, ask Prime for more bling. Man, you know Prime. Come on, man. Prime not giving up no jewelry. Prime not giving up no jewelry. That's a party foul anyway. You can't ask another grown man for no jewelry. Like you. When you get a certain age, the only person that asks you for some jewelry is your wife. That's the only person. I feel bad about asking my wife for jewelry. She just do a good job of getting it, but I can't go to her and be like, babe, you see this bracelet over here? Nah, bro, you can't. Now, I do. Now, the only people that I get my mom, well, I do get true. I buy my dad watches. I buy my wife jewelry. But you know who's really good at it? My wife buys some dope watches. She good at buying watches, man. She buy good watches. I had to start telling her, but hey, man, you can't be putting that on the internet. No more pictures of my watches, man. You know what I'm saying? These dudes be out here biting a little bit, be hating a little bit. But I combine pistol. Shedeur would be great in the West Coast offense because he is accurate and he has good timing and touch. In terms of the pistol, I think that speaks for itself. I think you see his mobility. Who would have known he was putting people on mixtapes? I mean, some of the read option stuff that he has, some of his mobility in the pocket. So being in the pistol is something that would definitely work well. I think Shedeur could be in a lot of different offenses because he can play in structure and he can improvise. Let's see. DK Skull G. Most Cleveland media immature, focusing on retribution from the past sins instead of building the future. AB improved the roster. Deshaun Watson mentorship. All-pro backup. Kevin Stefanski got gonna do to pass sins and no sign of improvement. Man, a lot of bees. Listen, I ain't got people be in their feelings, man. I don't be getting it. I just don't understand it. They be in their bag. Be in their bag. Like, let me just tell you this. I love the Cleveland Browns. I grew up I could see the Pro Football Hall of Fame from my bedroom when I grew up. Football is not only what I like, it's in my DNA. I came from the city that birthed football. I only watch one team, the Cleveland Browns. That's it. I don't got another team. I went to OU. I root for the Bobcats. Other than that, bro, I don't got a new dog in the fight. Why would I not want a quarterback that can play, that's good for the community, that's genuine, that comes from a good family structure and background, and can play football, and it sparked my team to some wins down the stretch, that's shown some promise? Why would I not want that? Ask yourself the question, what are you looking at that the rest of us don't see that he is such a problem, a distraction? Where? Where? You got to figure that out. You have to do some soul searching within yourself to figure that out. I can't give you the answer to that. But as far as for me, I can't be addressing it every week either. It's up to you. Keisha says, what bothers me is the media still talking distraction. Shedeur has done nothing. The media is distracted. Yeah. There you go, Keisha. That's it. That's all it is. But here's what we got to do, though. If you know it's a distraction, why we can't feed into it. That's why I tell them it's the last week. If you got a problem that Jimmy has them and chose Andrew Berry, you're going to have to go to church on Sunday. Maybe the Lord, if you upset that Shedeur Sanders is still here and it looks like he's going to be the quarterback, I'm sorry. You're going to have to figure it out on your own terms. But I can't waste my content trying to tell you why or giving you reasons to. You're just going to have to figure it out. Joey, Too Cool TV. So I recently started watching American football. I'm from South America, and you are my go-to for football analysis. Thank you so much. I'm watching America. I'm from South America. I want to thank. That's the biggest compliment I can get, Joey. Somebody that's new to the sport. So I take that with pride in terms of analysis. I take that with pride. I am an ambassador to the game. We appreciate you. Time to turn the page on the conversation with the Cleveland Browns. It's time to look to the page in 2026. Wrist up. There you go, T-Storm. Turn that page. Sorry. It's time to turn the page. You know what my slogan is? Came alive in 25. We ain't gonna miss in 26. Jonathan McGriff. They had that man throwing the trash cans. Come on. That was it right there. When I went to practice, I said, bro, they got him on the side field. Everybody know that hooping in the city. Everybody know that ball in the city is the court, where's the main court, where the ballers play. And then it's the court over there, where it'd be kind of, and then it's the third court. I said, they got the nerve to have that man on the third. That did it for Kevin Stefanski right there. It was done. Just a girl. Shedeur said, if you don't want to change your friend, don't draft me. Look at Cleveland changing. They better do right by him next season. It's changed. A lot changed. I think that threatens some people too. Nita finally said live, yes, they use the fans knowing players' salary to control players because of the fan blowback, especially when they refuse to take pay cuts. It's the biggest scam that works every time. That's why I be kicking knowledge. I be kicking the game. People don't want to pick up on. Nita, you are correct. It's always the perception, right? It's the perception that they use fans. Fandom is fanatic. So there's a thin line between love and hate. When a player does well, they love him to death. If they drop the football, get them out of here. If they want more money, they're locker room cancer. When they question the coach or the authority, if the coach don't do well, then all of a sudden it's the players. They use it all the time. Then they use the pressure of the salary cap. Oh, the pressure's his cap hit is this. So we can't get no more players because this guy's making the most money. And then when we lose, we say we don't got no players. Well, if it wasn't for Deshaun Watson's guaranteed deal. But my question is, if it was supposed to be like that, why don't they have coaches, and why the coaches' salaries don't count towards the cap? Because intrinsically, some coaches are better than others, right? It's a competitive advantage if you have a great coach, don't you? So Andy Reid probably should cost more against the cap than a rookie coach, right? No, we can't do that. So we're not going to publicize that. We're not going to talk about that. See, they'll publicize. They're good at doing this. They'll publicize all kind of stuff, right? They'll but they ain't going to tell you how much money they made on them CEO bonuses. Them bonuses is not, and when you find out, You say, hold on, so you done laid off 600 people. You laid off 600 people in Dallas. You laid off 600 people in Los Angeles. You laid off, you closed a whole plant in Des Moines, Iowa. 2,000 people in a small town of 10,000. You just unemployed the whole town. But your CEO made $272 million last year. The year before that, he got a bonus of $60 million. Well, they ain't going to put that in there because it make it look crazy, right? It's just all about the optics. My man. At Deion Assassin Sanders Jr. Appreciate the support, dog. Your comment section is not playing. The rejected will be respected. I appreciate you, my guy. See, now what we're going to have to deal with is, problem is, now they're going to pick up on this, and they're going to see, they say, oh, my goodness, he in the chat. Junior was in the chat. See, G. Bush, I told you, G. Bush, he had lived with Prime. He lived with Prime like in high school, and he's a plant now. He a plant now, and he lived with Prime. Actually, he actually, you know, it's the cousins of Deion Sanders Jr., and that's why G. Bush be saying what he be saying, and he pandering. I'm like, oh boy, the gymnastics is coming. You know, G. Bush, you know, he started the Barbershop. The Barbershop is a subsidy of well-off media and Prime. And so what it is, they set that thing up so that anytime somebody say something about one of the Shedeurians, G. Bush can step in and take the charge for it. Boy. It's okay, man. I appreciate it. But listen, I appreciate you pulling up. I only saying what I say, and I just kind of keep it real. But you know how they be playing. They going to be sick. I told you he was a plant. Well, I appreciate you, man. Shout out to Well Off Me to make sure you go subscribe and check out that. Subscribe over there. Shout out to the peoples. We appreciate you. Nate Easley. Shout out to you, my guy. We appreciate you. Christopher Robbins. I'm agreeing with your aforementioned statement of moving JS to head coach, Jim Schwartz to head coach, and hiring McDaniel as offensive coordinator. Let's roll. David Walker. Bieniemy was interviewed for 15 head coaching jobs and was never hired. Terrell Austin told teams when he was with the Lions not to interview him just for the Rooney Rule. If he's not a serious candidate, don't call now with the Steelers. See the Rooney Rule messed around and became a joke. Stop calling me up. Stop calling me. See, a lot of people don't be hitting me up using me for my base. Don't be hitting me up just because I represent a demographic. If you're not going to think about hiring me, I don't want to do the interview. I'm not coming to, bro, listen. I'm not coming to think about doing no show for you if you're not thinking about making me the dude. Because I already know what I'm coming with. I already know I'm coming with transformative material. Do not interview G. Bush if you feel like I ain't the one. As a matter of fact, I stopped going to interviews. You know what I did? I made my own show. Shout out to you, David Walker. Don Hall. Yeah. Thank you, Rosie. See, Don, I told you. Look, Rosie, she pulled me. She was like, no, we're going to do that. Get over there. All right, here we go. Patrick Williams, why Mary Kay and Bull Saudi about the Newsom comment on the Arena podcast. I saw you over there to yourself. Why they mad about the Newsom comment on? I don't realize what he made on that. I don't get the context. The Gilbert Arenas podcast, or is that TJ Ward? Oh yeah, I think you talk about TJ Ward. Yeah, I'm part of the media. I got 17 media jobs. Why would I be mad that somebody says something about the media? They're not my collective identity. That's not my identity. Because you know why? Because G. Bush stands for G. Bush. I only speak for myself. Devin Bush has as many touchdown receptions as any receiver that anybody not a tight end. Stop. We need a playmaker and all on the line on the offensive line. Most important of all, accountability. Cleveland to the casting drops. What's up, my guy? Shout out to my guy, OG Ellis. Make sure you check out that interview. It's doing numbers. It's doing numbers. See how we do over here? That's support. I wasn't even talking about nothing. I just got my OG, one of the dudes that's been here since the Cardiac Kids, to the casting drops. He's been here when the old stadium closed. He was here with Kozar, Sipe, all them. He's been rocking out with the, and even that interview was kicking. That interview got views. You know why? Because we talk about the real over here. We talk about gang violence. We talk about stopping the violence. We talk about the community. So that's good. That interview gonna jump. Christopher Robbins, naming the final bosses off gaming is wild work. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That if you know, you know. Jim H shouldn't give John H. Brown a penny of his money. Black acre, white acre. Fred Mayo the Great. Flores Schwartz offensive coordinator must be Eric Bieniemy. Speed X on UCSS. Why compare 12-7 starts to full rookie lines instead of the 7? Ward's first 7, 1,356 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Shedeur 1,379 interceptions behind the worst online, 0 offensive. And by the way, Chase Daniels and Mel Kiper have both said a lot of them interceptions. Now he's thrown some interceptions, like them interceptions against the Bears. Them was picks, but there was the Jerry Jeudy threw his arms in the corner. No, the ball bouncing off somebody's helmet. No, the ball that bounced off Judkins' hands because he didn't get it. No, there's a lot of these turnovers that you could be looked at like, not really. Somebody got fooled legitimately against the Raiders. He legitimately got fooled a few times, and he had some turnover returns. But let's not act like all of these is created equal. People be doing too much. R-Mac Dog G, I'm back from my cruise, and I heard about Harbaugh demands, but since Jimmy already gave GM powership to Andrew, hoping that he promotes Schwartz. Yeah, I heard about, we played that here too. We gave y'all a lot of information today. Hopefully y'all go away. Hopefully y'all come away with this information. And you be like, let me look at this a little closer. Christopher Robbins grew up in Lakewood, went to Lakewood High School at OSU. In the Dominican for work now for a weekend, and then headed to Poland for 3 weeks, then Manila for 2 weeks. I take the barbershop wherever I go. Well, my wife is from Manila. I've never been to Poland. Shout out to the Dominican Republic. I heard it's nice. I heard it's nice down there. One of my single guys said, I heard it's nice down there. Crazy. But it's nice in Manila though, too. I mean, I went to Manila one time to date a girl. Remember how that went? She turned out to be a sweet girl. Worked out well for me. I didn't. Hey, Jab 9237. By the way, she's in all of the joints, so she be in the film breakdowns. So this is how in depth the chat be over here. Ain't nobody else's chat doing this. I did an all 22 analysis on every interception, the breakdown, quarterback error 2, drops 2, tip 2, wide receiver not expected points 2, scheme force throw play call 2. If you add up 3 stolen Wildcat TDs for Shedeur is good. ain't nobody putting in no work like that. I appreciate you. David Walker, owners are brilliant. The billionaire owner have convinced the fans that the millionaire players are the greedy ones. Every team will get a check for $425 million in March when no football is being played. Who really is the greedy? That's the thing, because you're able to get. It's like it's, and that's the reason they like college players playing in college. It further normalizes them because you watch them growing up in lineage. So then they get to the pros, like you have an attachment to them. So you have relationships with these people. Billionaires are so rich that you can't fathom how much that money they're making. Think about it like this. They pay everybody. Think about this. No, hold on. Think about this. So if you feel Deshaun Watson is rich, I pay Deshaun Watson, Myles Garrett, and Denzel Ward. And I own the stadium. What? So, yeah, I'm building a new one too. What? And I own all the land around it. What? By the way, I own the Milwaukee Bucks too. What? I own the Columbus Crew. What? Yeah, I pay all the soccer players. I pay Giannis. I pay all those people. I pay for the building there. That's wild work. Like, these people are richer. You can't fathom that. But what you can fathom is, I can understand that I watched this kid in high school. He came up. He, went through the ranks, played at Ohio State. He interviews every week. The NFL is brilliant because of the way that they've made their industry. They were the first industries that said that coaches have to talk. Starting quarterbacks must speak. There is no, you're going to talk to the media. Access, 24-hour news. Right now, think about this. We talked about the NFL and the Cleveland Browns. I've been talking for 3 hours. This number ain't moved. 3,600, almost 4,000 people live concurrently watching around the world because the NFL it's a cycle. It's a marketing tool. It's communication. They've wrapped it up in one. Football is almost like a religion in this country. I'm sorry, I'm not saying that to me. We know that. But have you ever seen somebody change their religion unless some life-changing happens? You is what you are. You ain't getting no new Browns fans. You ain't getting no, people don't leave the Browns. But Jimmy Haslam found a way to get new Browns fans. Where do you get new diehard fans from? You don't get that with moving up to get Dante Moore. You get that by surrounding yourself with a guy in Shedeur Sanders. I'm just saying, I'm just kicking knowledge. Maybe you pick it up where I'm putting down. TJ Ward is who I meant, sorry. Patrick Willie, I got you. They was in that bag. James Frank, we appreciate the super chat. Christopher Robbins, your single guy friend is right about the Dominican Republic. My wife looked over there and was like, yeah, your single guy friend is not allowed coming to dinner. But I said, he don't want to anyway. He's too busy in the Dominican Republic. Set apart lad, Jason Source on the show yesterday with Stefanski. Oh, God, this is why it got funny, man. The Browns is Miles' and Shedeur squad. I'd say so. Daniel Todd. The beauty of Sanders' situation is once he wins the quarterback job, the Browns schedule will have him facing off against Mendoza, Moore, Ward, Dart, and should have all next year. Ain't that beautiful? And the beautiful part about it is when they do announce him as quarterback, we can actually talk about the Cleveland Browns being good and what we need to do to win that trophy. Not judging Shedeur Sanders from throw to throw. But we've done a great job today. We came in not knowing what we wanted to do, but we wanted to put it to bed. We wanted to put it to rest. And I encourage you to leave on this encouraging note. This is the last week of this nonsense. Andrew Berry is the GM. He's, as we speak, trying to find a new head coach. Believe it or not, Jim Schwartz probably is the leader in the dugout right now. Believe it or not. And Shedeur Sanders most likely is going to be the quarterback starting in 2026. Not my words, but just parsing through what they've done. You've had a couple of weeks now to get over it. You're not drafting a quarterback in the first round. No one's going to come in and fire Andrew Berry because Kevin got fired. And no matter how many stats you pull up, Shedeur looks like he's going to be the quarterback moving into 2026. So my thing for everyone out here is with you guys, you got a long time before football will be played again. You got another long period of time. It got to be hot outside again before you see Shedeur Sanders and the rest of the Cleveland Browns get on the football field. And that's a good thing. So what you can do is take a load off, understand that nothing people say is going to change a lot of things between now and then. So don't let it affect you. Don't let it trigger you. And you don't have to go about arguing with people about stuff that you already know is well established. With that being said, live free, live fun, and I'll catch you next Saturday, on the Barbershop. You never know where G. Bush might show up, radio, television, internet, but you want the fresh cut on sports. I keep the Clippers with me. Have a great rest of your evening. And as always, like we say, it's always go Browns.